Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Orhan and I am a Flutter developer with experience of more than 3 years. An onboarding screen is an introductory screen a user sees when they open a new app for the first time. In this video, we will learn how to create these interactive and eye-catching onboarding screens infused with branding and services, all designed with beautiful aesthetics and just the right touch of basic animations. We will achieve all this without using any third-party packages, and we will only use Flutter basic widgets. So I have already created a project with the name of onboarding screens and cleaned the default code that we get with the new project. So the things that I have added beforehand is these asset images. I have two asset images, first with the name of character1 and second with the name of character2.png. Both of them are in PNG format. So after that, I have also created a directory with the name of screens that include two Dart files with the name of first onboarding screen and second onboarding screen. In both the screens, I have only used a stateful widget and represented the screen number with the text widget in the center. I have also created a directory with the name of widgets, and for the assets I have added assets in the pubspec YAML file so that we can use these images inside our project. So without any further delay, let's run our application. In a moment our application will be up and running. Let's wait. As you can see that the application is loading and it is showing a first screen because in the main.dart file I have called the first onboarding screen. So now let's take a look what we are going to create. So there is a heading at the top and a subheading below that, and after that there is an image that a user can swipe around and the title will be changed, and at the last we have a button with a draggable behavior. So first of all, what we will do is we will remove this code that we have already done, and we will give a background color to our scaffold, and we will set the color equal to colors.deal. And if we reload our project, you can see that the background color is changed. And now after that, as you know, we want to arrange our widgets in a vertical format, so we will use a column. And inside column we will set the main axis alignment equal to main axis alignment dot center, and after that we will use a text widget, and inside text widget we will pass a text string deliver, and we will give it a style, and for style we have to use text style. And inside text style, first we will change the size and we will set it equal to 60. And now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a text deliver on the screen. And after that, let's change the font weight. We will set the font weight equal to bold, font weight dot bold, and we will change the color of our text to colors dot white. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the text is in white and bold, but it is not in the center of our mobile screen. So first, for that we can wrap our text field inside a center widget, and now our text is right in the center of our application. So we need to have another text widget to show our subheading. What we can do is we can code it all the above again, or we can simply copy the code what we have done before, and we can simply paste it down below. In my case, I have done that, and for the text string, I have changed the text string to deliver and delight, your world, your order, your way, because I am going to develop a delivery app, so I have done my branding according to that. You can change it to anything you want. So next what we will do is we will change the font size to 14, and we will set the font weight to font weight dot normal. Now if we reload our project, you can see that the subheading is right below the heading where we want it to be. So after our subheading, we need to have an image right below it. So for this purpose, what I will do is I will use a size box with a width of 350, and I will give it a height of 350. And for the child, I will use image.asset, and inside this I will pass the assets, the path of the image that where it is present. In my case, it is inside the assets directory with the name of character-1.png. To remove this error, we have to remove this constant from the top, and now to remove these yellow warnings, we have to import the constant modifiers at the corresponding places or the respective places. So now if we reload our project, you can see that the image is right below the subheading where we want it to be. So if we try to swipe it, it is not animating right now because we not implemented the functionality. We will achieve the animated or animating functionality after we have created our complete structure of our first onboarding screen. So now what we will do is we will develop our draggable button that is going to be at the bottom of our mobile screen. So what we will do is I will use a container widget, and inside this for the width I will use media query dot of context dot size and dot width minus 80. What I am trying to do here is I am trying to get the size of the screen or the media on which the app is running, and then minusing the 80 pixels from it. So for the height I have used 80, and for the decoration of the container we are going to use box decoration, and inside box decoration I will pass the color, and for color I am going to use colors dot white with the opacity of 0.2. Let's give it an opacity of 0.2, and now if we reload our project you can see that there is a faint white box at the bottom of our screen. So now let's give it a border radius. For border radius we will use border radius dot circular, and inside this I am going to pass 40 pixels. And now if we reload our project you can see that the container have circular edges now, which looks more beautiful now. So after that what we will do is we will use a child widget, and for the child widget I am going to use a stack, and inside stack, as you know, we have to pass the children array. And inside children array first of all first widget that I am going to use is align, and inside align I am going to give the alignment to alignment dot center, and after that I am going to use a child and inside the child I am going to use container widget. And for the container, first of all let's give it a padding. For the padding I am going to give a padding for edge inserts dot only from the left 20 pixels, and after that what I will do is I am going to pass a child widget text. Inside text I am going to use a string get started, and to style this string, as you know, we have to use text style. And inside text style, first of all what we will use is we will change the font size, and we will set the font size equal to 20. And for the font weight I am going to use font weight dot bold, and after that what I will do is I will change the color of the text, and for this we will use color and colors dot white. Now let's reload our project, and as you can see that get started is right in the center of our white backgrounded container. So now after that what I am going to use is I am going to use another container at the top of our align widget, and for this container I am going to provide a width of 80 and a height of 80. And for the decoration we are going to use box decoration, and inside box decoration I am going to use colors dot red with a shade dot shade 200. So I want it to be very light red color. So for the border radius I want it to be circular. There are two ways to achieve this. First we can change the border radius and give it a border radius dot circular to 40, and the second one I will explain it later. Now if we reload our project you can see that there is a circular widget or container at the left of our main button. So after that in the container we are going to use a child widget, and for the child we are going to pass another align widget and set its alignment to alignment dot center. So this time I am going to give it a child container, and for the container we will use a width 80, and after that we will give it a height of 70, and in the decoration we will use box decoration. So now as on our previous container we use border radius to give it a circular shape. For this there is a shape parameter inside the box decoration that we can use, and we can simply use it to box shape dot circle. And for the color we will use colors dot red. So let's remove this warning by adding constant, and now if we reload our project you can see that there is another circular container right in the center of our previous container. So now what we will do is for this container I am going to use another center widget with a child icon, and for the icon we are going to use icons dot chevron icons dot chevron underscore right. And now for the size, we can change the size of it, and for the size I am going to use 40 pixels, and for the color of it I am going to use colors dot white. And to remove these yellow warnings, we have to add the constant modifier. And now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a beautiful arrow in the center of our previous container. So now we have completed our structure, but we need to have spaces in between them. What we can do is we can remove this main axis alignment dot center for the column, and in space of that we can use a spacer widget that is defined in Flutter. We will give it at the top, and now if we reload, you can see that all the widgets inside of screen are pushed down below. So what we can do is we can add a spacer right after every widget where we want it to be. Let's add spacer right at the bottom. So now you can see that it's taking equal space, the spacer widget is dividing them equally. So now let's add spacer widget at the top of the image, and below the image let's add a spacer widget. And if we reload our project, you can see that now our application our first screen is done without animation, and the spaces are equally divided. That's why we can use spacer widget if we want to make an equal distance between our widgets. So now as we have completed our structure for our first onboarding screen, we can move toward implementing the animating functionality. So first of all, what we will do is we want to make our image movable to the left or the right, or when the user swipe it to the right, it will move to the right, or when it to the left, it will move to the left. So for this purpose we can use a transform widget at the top, and for the required arguments we will use the transform required argument that is required for the transferred widget to be used. And inside transform what we will do is we will use matrix 4 and we will pass dot translation values, and inside this we have three axes x, y and z. We will just change the y-axis to 0 and z-axis to 0, and we will only use the x-axis because we are going to move the image only in the horizontal way. So for the x-axis, what we will do is we will use image offset dx. So we will have to define this image offset. What we will do is we will go to the top of our screen, and inside this we will use final image offset is equal to offset dot 0. That's how we will initialize our image offset, and we have to use a semicolon at the end. Let's copy from it image offset, and now if we go back towards our code, you can see that the error is removed. So now if we reload our project and try to swipe it, it is not yet moving in either direction, or the left or the right. So what we will do is after that what we can do is we will wrap our sized box inside a widget, and we will change it to gesture detector. Gesture detector, we use this widget to get the gestures of the user, like if the users click on it or long press or just press it. So in our case we will use on pan update. For this it will return us a details argument that we can use down below. So inside on pan update we will use a condition. For the condition we will use if the image offset dx abs is less than or equal to 120 pixels. Then we want to execute some functionality. What does this mean is if the user swipe or image to 120 pixel to the left or the right, then the changes will appear. So what we will do is we will copy we will make this title dynamic, so we can change it whenever the user swipe or image. So for this purpose we will do is we will use a string, and we will give it a name of title text, and we will set it equal to deliver, because for the first time we want to show the deliver. So now copy this title text, and we can replace this static deliver text that we have done. And as you can see that now we have to remove this constant from the top that we are using right at the top from the center widget. Let's remove this, and now it is resolved. And now to get rid of these yellow warnings, we can add constant modifier. So now in the set state, what we can do is we can change the title text equal to order. and let's add a semicolon at the end. So we have completed our on pan update method. So now if we reload our project, let's restart our project so that the animation functionality can take place. And now if we try to swipe this, you can see that the image is not moved but the title is changed. So now to move the image, what we will do is we can use another gesture detector method, that is on pan end. So when the user ends it, so what the movement of the image or the gesture what he is doing to the left or the right, what we will do is we will just simply set state, and we can change the title text again from order to deliver. So now if we reload our project, you can see that let's restart our project so that it can take place. And now if we try to swipe it, you can see that if the user has pressed, it is changed to order, and whenever the user pick his finger above, it is changed back to deliver. So our animation is working. So now what we want to do is we want to change the image also, so that the image position is also changed whenever the user swipes it. So what we can do is we can simply use image offset, and inside this so why to resolve this error, at the top we have set it equal to final, so we cannot change the value down below. We can set it equal to offset, we will use the type offset. And now what I have done is I have used an offset, and I have changed the offset, the details argument that we are getting, and I have added it to the offset of the image on the x-axis, and y-axis is equal to 0. And when the pan end or the user remove the gesture, we are again setting the offset to 0. Now if we restart our application, let's wait for a moment. Now application is restarted. Now if we try to swipe our image, you can see that the image is moving left and right, but right in the center of the screen, it doesn't look like that it is in a inclined form, or it doesn't seem right. So what we can do is we can rotate our image. For the transform widget, we can use double dot rotate z, and inside the rotate z it requires an angle on which the image will rotate or transform. In our case, what we will do is I am going to use image offset.dx and divide by 20. Whatever the offset is, we will divide it by 20 and then multiply it with pi 3.14 and again divided by 180 to make the value less inclined. So now what we will do is we have to restart our application to observe the changes. So now if we restart our application and try to swipe it, as you can see that it's a little bit upward when it moves to the left and downward whenever it moves to the right. So now our animation for our screen is working fine. So what we will do is we will move towards a button functionality. For the button functionality, as you have seen above in our image case, we will use gesture detector and same two methods on pan update, so that whenever the user is on the screen pressing it, or whenever the user takes its finger above the screen, we will know. So in this case we will use on pan update, and same it will return the details, and we will check again. We will check that if the details dot delta dot dx is greater than 0, when so even if the user have moved a minimum portion of the screen, and we will check the button offset. If the button offset is less than equal to button width minus 80, the total button width that we are using is less than 80, and then we will set state, and inside set state we will use button offset plus equal to details dot delta dot dx, and at the end we will use semicolon. So now to use a button offset and button width, we have to define it beforehand. So what we will do is we will again come to the top of the screen, and this time we will use a double value to define the button offset, and we will set it equal to 0.0. and in case of button width, what we will do is how we can achieve is because we are using media query to get the width of the screen at the current time, we can use inside our build method. So inside our build method, what we can do is we can use a double data type, and we will give a name of button width, and we will paste our code that we are using below. So it will change the button width at the current time. So all the errors are gone. As you can see that the errors are gone, and we can remove this code from here, and we can replace it with button width, because if we have defined it at the top inside our build method. So now we have made our width for the container dynamic. So what we will do is we need to add the gesture detector, another method to know whenever the user starts pushing the screen, or whenever the user remove his fingers from the screen. So for this purpose we will use on pan end, and inside on pan end we will use a condition. Inside our condition, what we'll do is we will check the button offset. If the button offset is greater than the button width or divided by 2, then we will set state. And inside set state, why we use set state? We use set state to change the state of the variable, as you know beforehand. So inside our set state we will set the button offset equal to button width minus 80. So what we can achieve more in this is we can also navigate to the second screen whenever the button is right at the top, at the right of the container. Then we can simply navigate to a different screen. Or if the button offset is not greater than the button width, what we want to do is we want to set the button offset equal to 0. So what in this scenario what we are going to achieve is whenever the user is going to drag the container, if the user is in the center of the screen, let's drag it. Oh, so now the container is not dragging. So the issue that we are facing is we haven't changed the container to animated container. Let's replace this container to animated container, and it requires a parameter with the name of duration. We will add the required parameter duration, and for the duration we will set the duration, and we will set it equal to 200 milliseconds and add constant modifier. So now if we reload our project, let's change this width to button offset plus 80, because we want to move it to the right side of the white container button. So now if we reload our project, let's restart our project to make our animated functionality working. So now let's add a print statement also here to know that if it is at the end of the screen. Let's add a working. So now if we restart our application, let's wait for a moment. Our application is restarted. Let's check our image. It's working fine. And now if we drag this button, you can see that the red button is staying behind, but the light button behind that we have used red, it's moving at the end of the screen. You can see that it's working because it's at the end of the screen. But this red icon, red circular button or circular container, we want it also to the end of the container. So how can we resolve this is we want it to move to the left, and we are using stack. So inside our alignment we have used center. We have to set it to alignment.center right. So now if we restart our application, let's check our application that if it's working or not. The image is working fine. It is changing the title. And now if we drag our button, you can see that if we start dragging it before the half of the button, it will move back. And now if we keep it dragging from the half of the button forward, it will simply complete its path on its own. So now what we can do is on pan end we can use a navigator. A navigator is used to push screens or the push screen on above each other. We will use navigator.push, and inside this we have to pass the context and the material page route. And we have already defined the second stateful widget, that is second onboarding screen, and I have defined that already. So now if we restart our application to take the effect of our code, so the application is up and running. So now if we drag our button and just leave it here, it will move back to its position on its own. So now if we leave it here, it will complete its path and it will shift to the next screen, which is the second screen. So now get into our second screen. We are going to change the background color of it, and we will set the colors.white. And before changing another thing, let's take a look what we are going to achieve in this screen. In our next video, what we are going to achieve is this. We have a list view at the bottom of screen and a button, and at the top, as you can see, that there are two animations going on. First one is the image that is moving vertically, and behind that we have circles, different circles with different colors that are animating after every second. So first of all, what we will do is we will remove this text widget, and in place of that we will add safe area, so our widgets do not go into the notch area of our phone. So after that we will use column, as our widgets are going to be aligned vertically. So first of all, what we will do is we will develop our screen first, the required widgets that are required. After that we will move towards the animation part. The animation functionality we will do after we have completed our structure. So first of all, what we need at the top is we need our image to show on the top of the screen. So for that purpose I am going to use image.asset, as we have done in our previous screen, and inside image.asset we have to provide the path of the image that we are going to use. So in my case it's inside assets folder with the name of character-2.png. I am going to give it a width of 200 and a height of a 200. As you can see that the image is on the left side of the screen, so we will wrap it inside the center widget, and now the image is in the center of our mobile screen. So after our image widget, what we need is we need to have a text widget. Inside this text widget we will show the tagline to the customers that visits our application. So in this scenario I have already copied the tagline and I have pasted it here. You can use any other tagline, whatever you want to use. So as you can see that the text is not properly styled. So what I will do is we will use style property of the text. We will use style property, and inside this we will pass text style, and inside text style, as you know that we can change the font size, font weight, or the color of the text. So in our scenario I'm going to set the font size equal to 16 and the font weight equal to font weight dot bold. And as far as the color goes, we will use color property of text style and we will set it to colors dot black. And now let's reload our project. So before reloading, let's align our text to the left side of the screen. And let's text align dot left of the screen. So as you can see that we can give the padding from the sides. It's not properly aligned in the center, or as you can see that it's on the edges of the screen. So what we can do is we can wrap our text inside a padding, and for padding we will use edge insets dot symmetric, and inside this I am going to pass 20 pixel horizontally. As you can see that now our text looks more beautiful now. So after that what we need to do is we need to give some space because we are going to use the list view down here. So for this purpose I will use size box and I will give it a height of 20 pixels. And now for the list view we are going to use list view dot builder, and it requires two parameters. First one is the item builder, as you can see it is on the screen, and second one is the item count. These two are compulsory. So the item builder, it takes two parameters. Firstly it takes the build context. In our case we have context, and secondly it takes the index, the length which we will provide. So in our item builder what it will return is it will return as a list style. So as you can see, let's put a comma at the end, and as you can see that I have already defined the list of strings for onboarding lines. As you can see that I have mentioned at the bottom of the screen. So in our list screen let's add comma and indent our code. Before that let's add item count, that the required property is, and for the item count I am going to use the onboarding lines, the array defined down below, and I will give it the length to the item count dot length. And for the list style, inside list style first I will set the content padding of the list style to 0. For this purpose we will use edge insets dot 0, and after that list style have a leading property. For the leading property we can use any icon, you can use any other widget you want to use, and in my scenario I am going to use icon, and for the icon I will use icon dot check circle. So it will be a circle checked circle. And for this the color I am going to use is we will use the colors dot teal. As you know that in our previous screen the background was teal, and in this scenario we are going to give the checks box green color, teal color, so that it's in the harmony of our app. After that, we will give the title to our list style. For the title, we will pass the strings that we have defined in the onboarding line array. So how can we use that? We will use onboarding lines, and inside this we will pass the index property that is coming from the item builder. And for the text styling, we will use text style. And as you know that inside text style we can change the font size. We will set it to 14 pixels, and the font weight, for the font weight we will set it to font weight dot normal. So we have to remove this constant to get rid of this red warning. And now we are done with it. What we will do is we will wrap our list view dot builder in expanded widget. It will expand the whole screen, whatever it needs. Now as we have reloaded our project, you can see that or list view is showing on the screen, but same as in the text case, we have to give the padding from the sides. And in this scenario we will give the same padding. We will use edge insets dot symmetric, and for the horizontal we will give it a 20 pixels. As you can see that now the list style is done, list view is done. So after that we will what we will do is we will define a button at the bottom that we are going to use. For this purpose I will use a container, and for the width we will use the same strategy that we have done in our previous screen. We will use media query dot of context dot size dot width, and this time we will multiply it with 0.4. We can also use the minus some pixels, or we can multiply it with 0.4 to make the value less. After that I am going to give it a height of 60. And for the decoration in container, as you know, we use box decoration, and inside box decoration we will use border radius. And for the border radius I am going to give it a circular radius of 40. As you can see that the button we have a container at the bottom of our screen. So after that what we will do is we will pass the child property to the container, and for the child we will use text, and inside text we will give a string of order now. And as far as the styling goes, we will use a text style, and for the text style we will set the font size equal to 18.0, and for the color we are going to use colors dot white. And we will set the font weight. Let's set the font weight to font weight dot bold, so make it more emphasized. So now we are done with the button. Let's add constant to remove the warnings. And now if we reload our project, you can see that order now is on the left side. It is not properly aligned in the center of the button. So what we can do is we can simply wrap our text inside the center widget. As we can reload our project, and as you can see that the order now is right in the center of our mobile screen. I have also increased the width from multiplying 0.4 to 0.5. So now our button looks fine. Let's give some space from the bottom. For this purpose I am going to use size box, and I will give it a height of 20 pixels. So now I am done with the list view, the button, the text and the image. So what we will do is now I am going to give some spacing up at the top so that our widgets are equally divided on the screen. For this purpose I am going to give a size box with a height of 40 pixels after our image. Now it looks fine. And after that what we will do is we will try to animate our image. So for this purpose what we need to do is we will use animated builder. Let's correct my spellings, and this time I'm going to use animated builder. Why we are using animated builder? Because we want to control the animation through the controller, and we also want to control the builder of it, so how it moves and how the image pan out. So in this case we are going in the animation parameter, we will use underscore controller. Let's define our animation controller above inside our state class. So what we will do is we are going to use a late modifier for our animation controller, and let's define animation controller and give it a name of underscore controller. So now as from my previous videos on the animation, you know that whenever we need to use the animation controller, we have to extend our class with a single ticker provider mixer. So we have extended our class with single ticker provider state mixer. And so now let's override our init state method. Init state method is the method that runs whenever the widget is loading. Before the build method is run, init state is called. So after calling the super.init state, we are going to initialize our animation controller. So how we can initialize is we will use underscore controller and set it equal to animation controller, which expects the property vsync, and inside vsync I am going to use this property. This defines this class, and in the duration I am going to use duration of the seconds 4 seconds. Let's give it 4 seconds. Let's add constant to remove the yellowish warning that we see underline the code. So after that I am going to set it equal to repeat. So how can we set our animations to repeat it after every 4 seconds? We will use underscore controller dot repeat, and inside this I will set a reverse property to true. Let's come back to our code, and we have to return some widget inside our builder method here. So what we will do is we will so inside the builder callback we have to return some widget to show it on the screen. So in this scenario, in our previous animation we used only transform widget. So in this scenario we are going to use transform dot translate widget because we are going to give some offset to it. So let's use transform dot translate, and it has a parameter named offset which is required. So in our scenario we will set offset equal to, for the x-axis we will set it equal to 0 because we do not want it to animate horizontally, and for the y-axis we will set it equal to underscore controller or animation controller and dot value steric minus 60 because I want the image to animate from top to then bottom. So we are done with it. Now let's restart our application to see the changes what we have done in our code. So let's move to the next screen. As you can see, animations are working fine. Let's move to the next screen, and now as you can see that the image is not showing. So what the problem was, I haven't added the child property of the transform dot translate here. So we will simply copy our code down below for the image dot asset and paste it here. Then we will again restart our application. Let's move to the next screen, and as we move to the next screen you can see that the image is animating fine. It is in a vertical motion from 70 pixels. It is moving from 70 pixels up and then down. So next step what we want is we want to have some animating circles behind this image, as we have seen in the demo. So in this scenario we will use animating circles, and inside the widgets directory I will try to create a new file with the name of animating underscore circles. So in our animating circles what I will do is I will create a stateful widget with the name of animating circles. Let's remove these errors by importing our material.dart file, and in our second screen, second onboarding screen, let's call the animating circles widgets, and now the errors are gone. So now we can focus on animating circle. So what we want here is we want to have 3 circles that are animating after each one after 1 second, and the colors are different. All of them are the shades of colors gray. So first of all we will define our variables that are required while creating this widget. So first of all what we will do is I am going to create a variable for the first circle, which will be a boolean, will be its data type, and we will give it a name of is first circle visible, and we will set it equal to false. Let's create all other variables that we required, and second one will be the boolean is second circle visible, and we are going to set it equal to false initially, and in the next scenario bool is third circle visible, we are going to set it equal to true in this scenario, and we will use the init state method here because we want to define the durations here. So inside our init state method it is compulsory to call the super.init state, and after that let's create a new function with the name of underscore show circles. Let's create a new function. We will create a new function void show circles. We will add open and close parentheses, and after that we will use open and close curly braces with async keyword, and inside this we will check, we will use a while loop and a while case, and inside this we will check if it is true, and then inside the curly brackets we will use a wait keyword here, and we will use future dot delayed, and inside future dot delayed we have to pass a parameter with the name of duration. So inside duration we will set the duration equal to 1 second, because we are going to animate every circle after 1 second. So we will do it according to that. We will set the booleans equal to false and true after every second. So now what we will do is, in our first scenario we will set is second circle visible equal to true, because in our initial state our third circle is visible. So now after we have set our second circle visibility equal to true, we will again use another future dot delayed method with the keyword await, and inside this we will pass the same duration. We will set the duration equal to 1 second, and inside the set state method this time we will use this is second circle visible. We will copy it from here and paste it down here, and we will set it equal to false. Not only the second circle, we will also copy the is first circle visible, and we will paste it down here, and we will set it equal to false, because we are going to only animate one circle at a moment. So we are going to copy this is third circle visible, and we will paste it here, and we will set it equal to true. Let's set it equal to true, because there may be a different approach to do this, but I found it easy to do this in way. And next I will simply copy the above and paste it down here, and we will simply change the boolean values after 1 second what we want to do. So in our second case we had our second circle visible. Let's remove it from here. We do not want it there. Here we only want to set the first circle visible equal to true. Okay, in our last future dot delete method, we have an error here. We have to add the underscore here to resolve this error. We have added the underscore show circles. So now our show circle method is complete. In our last future dot delete, we have set all the values equal to false except the third circle visible, which is equal to true. So now we will move towards the build method. So inside build method we are going to use custom paint, which is a Flutter widget, and inside custom paint I am going to provide the size widget, and inside size we will use 250 width, and for the height I am also going to use 250. It will custom paint, it will define the space in which or animation will take place, or in which we are going to develop a custom circle painter. So the sizes we have given, width is 250 and the height is 250, and for the painter parameter we are going to create another class with the with the name of circle painter, and inside circle painter we will extend it with custom paint, because we are going to custom painter because we are going to use some properties of this class. So as we have extended to custom painter, we have to create two missing methods. We have to override these two methods. First one will be the paint, and second one will be the should repaint. So now what we will do is, inside our paint we will define the logic, how we want our circles to animate and how we want our circles to change color. Okay, so first of all what we will do is, we will require some parameters. So we will simply copy from above and we will paste it down here. We will define these three variables. First, final, all of them will be boolean and all of them will be final. So firstly let's copy is third circle visible, and we will paste it down here. Let's add a semicolon at the end of it. Similarly we will define other two variables also. Let's copy this and paste it 2 times down below, and let's replace third with second circle visible, and for the third we will replace it to is first circle visible. So now we have defined a variable. Now we need to have a constructor for this class. We will create the constructor circle painter, and we will use open and close parentheses and semicolon at the end. And inside this we have to call all these three variables. This dot is third circle visible. Similarly for the second one we will use this dot is second circle visible, and for the third one we will use this dot is first circle visible. So now we are done with the constructor. So it's showing us error on circle painter above, circle painter widget above. So we need to call these parameters here. So first of all, let's copy from down below and paste it here. We have pasted, or is third circle visible? Similarly for the is second circle visible? Let's paste it above, and similarly let's go down and copy is first circle visible, and paste it above here. So now the error is gone. In Circle Painter, let's add a constant to the size to remove this yellow warning. So now we have created our Circle Painter class, and we have added the parameters that are required to control the animations. Yeah, so what is the next step? So in the next step, we are going to paint or canvas, we can say canvas, for our circles to animate. So for this case, what we will do is we will use the paint widget of Flutter defined default in default Flutter. We are not using any third-party packages. So for the paint, the first property is color. We will use two dots, color is equal to colors.gray, and we will give it a shade of 100. And the second property which we will use is we will use the style property of the paint, and we will set it equal to painting style dot stroke. And next we have to define three paints, and we are going to because we have three circles, that's why we have to define three paint widgets. So in our next paint widget, we will name it paint 1, and we will change the color, and this time we will give it a shade of 300. Let's give it a shade of 300. And for the style property, I am going to use painting style dot stroke. And for our final paint, what we will do is we will give it a name of paint 2, and inside our paint widget we will give it a color. So in our third paint widget, what we will do is we will set the color, and we will set it equal to colors.gray, and this time we will give it a 300 shade of gray color, because we are making our circles one by one darker. So in this scenario, for the style property, we will again use the painting style dot stroke. So now, as we have defined all the required circles, we are going to define the centers of the circle where it is going to be inside our canvas. So what we will do is we will use the offset property, and inside offset we are going to pass the size dot width, the size we have defined above for our painter. And for the height, we will divide the width by 2, and for the height we will use size dot height, and again we will divide it by 2. So now we have defined our center variable. Let's add semicolon at the end. And after that, what we want is we want to define a radius for the circles. For the radius, we are going to use three different paints, three different paint widgets, because we are going to show three different circles. So in this scenario, we are going to define radius for all of the circles. So for our first circle, we will use radius 1, and we will set it equal to size dot width, and we will divide it by 2 and minus 10 from it. And for the radius 2, what we will do is we will simply use the radius 1 that we have defined above, and we will minus 20 from it. And similarly, for the third circle radius, what we will do is we will again use the radius 2 that we have defined above, and we will minus 20 from it again. So now we have defined our radiuses, and we have defined the center, and here we will use if conditions to check whether this circle is visible or not. So first of all, we will check if is third circle is visible. We will check if it's true, then we will go inside our condition, and we will draw our canvas. For this, what we will do is we will use canvas, the parameter that we gave to our paint method, and we will use canvas dot draw circle. And the draw circle required three parameters. Firstly, it requires the center, the positioning, second it requires the radius, and third it requires the paint widget what we want to draw. So for our third circle, we will use radius 3, and we will use a paint 2. Let's copy this condition and paste it down below 2 times more. And secondly, we will check if our second circle is visible or not. Let's copy a code from above, and let's paste it down here. Is second circle visible? What we will do is we will keep the center parameter. We will change the radius and paint. We will change the radius to 2 and paint to 1. So in our last circle condition, we will use is first circle visible, If the circle is visible, we will change the radius to 1, and we will change the paint to only paint. And in our should repaint method, we have to remove this exception, and we will return true that we want to repaint these circles. So now we are done with our animating circles dart file. We have created our circle painter successfully. So now let's restart our application. So now our application is working. Let's check our animation. Beautiful, this animation is working. The title is changing, as you can see above, as the draggable behavior of the button. If we drag it to 80%, it will shift to the new screen. As you can see that the animation is working fine, but the circles are not completely drawn. You can see the edges of the circle. So what the problem is here, we have given the colors dot gray, and we have given the colors to all of them. We haven't mistakenly given a white color. Okay, so the mistake is we have given painting style, and we have used painting style dot stroke. The stroke is only showing the edges of the circle. So what we can do is we can change it to painting style dot fill. Let's change all the paint widgets to painting style dot fill. And now let's again restart our application to make the changes take place. So as you can see that now by changing it to painting style dot fill, the circles are animating, and at a moment after every second the circle is changing and they are in the harmony. So now we have completed our application. Beautiful animations for our onboarding screen. Let's go to our main.dart file. I have used here a first onboarding screen as a home screen. So whenever we restart our application or the user restarts our application, it will jump to the first onboarding screen, as you can see. So that's it for this video. We have created two beautiful and minimalistic onboarding screens with basic animations. Flutter is a versatile framework known for its comprehensive capabilities, enabling cross-platform development for Windows, iOS, Android, and web applications in a single code base. So, the question is, how can we easily learn this language, or a matter of fact, any programming language? The best way to learn programming is to start building a simple project. In this video, we will achieve Flutter authentication user interface for login and sign up. So first of all, let's open our Android Studio and create a new Flutter project. Make sure you have selected Flutter in generators, and we will proceed, and in the project name we will give our project Flutter underscore authentication and underscore UI. Let's remove Windows, Web, Mac OS, Linux platforms because we only need Android and iOS. Let's create a new Flutter project. After a moment, the new Flutter project will be created. Inside our project directory, you can find a lib folder that contains our main.dart file. This file contains a default code which includes a floating action button and a variable which value increments whenever we press that floating action button. So now let's run our application on this iOS simulator. After some time, the application will be up and running, and we will be able to see the default application from this piece of code. As you can see, there is a floating action button, and there is a value 0 in the center of the screen. Whenever we press the button, the value increments by 1. In our case, we do not need these widgets that are by default present in the main.dart file. So let's remove these widgets and also remove these lines that are commented. So first of all, we will change our title to Flutter authentication space UI, and after that we will remove the debug mode banner and set it the value to false. And let's create a new folder inside lib directory with the name of screen. And inside screen, let's create a new Dart file with the name of registration underscore screen. Inside this file, we will create a stateful widget with the name of registration screen. And to remove these red errors, we will import material.dart library, and let's replace placeholder with a scaffold, and scaffold needs a body widget. And inside body, we will use a text widget, and we will give it a registration screen text. Now let's move back to our main.dart file, and let's remove this widget because this is not available now. We will replace this with our registration screen widget. And now all the errors are gone. Let's reload our project, As you can see, the screen is white and our registration screen text is at the top left corner. So to resolve this issue, what we can do is we can wrap our text inside a center widget. In this project, we will use customized font that I have already downloaded from Google Fonts website. So for that purpose, let's create a new folder inside our project directory with the name of fonts. Let's rename it to fonts, and inside fonts I will import the file that I have already downloaded. We will do Command C, and then inside our Android Studio select the fonts folder and we can do Command V. The file will be pasted inside the folder. So now if we want to use this font file in our project, we have to edit our pubspec YAML file. As you can see, there is a already present lines that are commented out. Let's uncomment this fonts line, also the family and the fonts value, where we'll provide the location of the fonts in our project. So let's adjust the indentation because it is very important in pubspec YAML file. Let's rename the family to Montserrat, and we will give the assets because it is in our fonts directory. We will to avoid spelling mistakes, we can go to refactor and rename our font file. Let's copy the name from here and we can simply paste it here. So in this way we will avoid spelling mistakes. We have provided our assets file in our pubspec YAML. Now let's get our dependencies by pubget. After some time the dependencies will be loaded. After that, let's create a new Dart file with the name of apputils inside our lib directory. Through these files we can manage our colors and different small widgets that we require in our app, but we do not want to do it statically. Through this we can do this dynamically, and we have to define our colors. For example, we have a colors.white that we are going to use in our application, so I can make a variable of a type color and give it a name of color white, and same goes for our primary color that we are going to use. For this we will use a variable named color primary, and equal to we will use the color, and inside this I will provide the code of the color we are going to use, that is 0xFF5145C1, and let's put a semicolon at the end. As you can see, you can change the color whichever you want from here, and throughout the app the variable will be same but the colors will be different. So now let's move into our registration screen, and for background color let's give our color primary to check that our code is working or not. So now if we reload our project, you can see that the background color of our registration screen widget is changed. So what we want to achieve is we want to have some text field, some title, and some radio buttons and a button for sign up. So for all these elements, all of them are aligned vertically. So what we will do is first we will remove this center widget, and at the place of center we will use column because we are going to align our widgets vertically. Inside column we will use children, and children takes an array of widgets. First of all we will use a text widget. We will use Jack. We will enter Jack, and if we reload our project, you can see that the Jack is at the left top corner of the screen. It is out of the safe area, as you can say that safe bound. So we can wrap our column inside a widget and we will name it safe area. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the text widget is inside the safe area. Basically safe area contains the notch area of the mobile phone where we can see our time or charging or Wi-Fi buttons. So let's align our widgets in the center for column, and if we reload our project, you can see that the title Jack is in the center of our widget. Let's give some style to our text. For this purpose we will use color white for our text, and after that for font size we will give a value of 28.0, and for font family we will use Montserrat family of fonts that we are using, and after that we will make this text bold. So for font weight we will use font weight dot bold. Now if we reload our project, you can see that the Jack is in the middle of the screen and it looks beautiful now. So now we can reuse this center widget with the text widget inside it. Before that, let's give a size box to give some space between check and of all traits text that we are going to use. Let's give a size box of height 8.0, and after that let's paste the above code, the center widget with text widget inside it. So now let's indent our code and let's replace this check with our text of all traits, and after that let's reload our project again. After reloading, you can see that jack of all trades is in the center of the screen and are vertically aligned inside our column. After this widget, let's give some more space between the widgets. For this purpose, we can again use sized box, and we could have given a static height, but this time I want to show you another way. Through this, we will use media query and dot of context dot size, and we will give a height dot height. We will get the height of the media that we are using. It gives, for example, if we are using a phone with much bigger height, it will return the same height in which we are working. So we can multiply that with 0.03, and let's remove these yellow warnings by adding constant. And now if we reload our project, you cannot see the space right now because we haven't used any widget after that. So for that purpose, let's copy this again because we are going to use the same details. Let's remove this text and add here, please enter your information. So now let's reduce the font size from 28 to 14. Let's reduce this to 14, and now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a text, please enter information underneath our title of our app. So now what we need after this is we need to have some text fields in which we will get input from the user. For this purpose, we will use text form field widget that will give us a text field. So now first of all, we will give a keyboard type because when the user inputs the data, it will be helpful for him to get the suitable keyboard for it. So first of all, we will give it a text input type dot email address. You can see that there is a slight line that represents the text field. If we toggle our software keyboard and type something, you can see that the text field is working and the text is at the left corner. It's aligned at the left side of the text form field. So first of all, what we will do is we will wrap our text form field inside a padding widget, and we will give it a padding from left, we will give it 16, and from right side we will give a padding of 20 pixels. Now if we reload our project, you can see that there is some padding from the side and it looks more attractive now. Next, we will set our obscure text to false because we are not using it for our passwords. After that, we will set our controller for this. First, let's initialize a new text editing controller and we will name it email controller. Now let's copy this email controller and we will paste it down here. After this, we will give some style to our text. For color, we will use color white, and for font family, we will use a Montserrat font family that we have used above. Let's add a constant to remove these warnings. And now if we reload our project and let's type something into this text field, you can see that the styling is changed but the text is still aligned to the left. Now what we will do is we will set our text alignment to center, and our cursor color, we will give the cursor color color white. Now if we reload our project, you can see that the text is in the center and the cursor color is white. Now we will give some decoration to our text form field widget. For this we will use input decoration. Firstly, we will set is dense property equal to true, and after that we will use a prefix icon that will be before the text is shown in the text form field. We will set this icon to equal to icons.email. And if we reload our project, you can see that there is a small shaped email icon at the start. Let's give some styling to this icon. First of all, let's change the color of this icon. For this purpose, we will set the color of this icon equal to color white, and we will give a size of 25.0. After that, if we reload our project, you can see that the icon colors is changed. And now let's set the focus color of this text form field widget equal to color white. Now if we reload our project, you can see that the changes have taken place, but if we remove the text from the text field, we need to add some hint text for the user, so he know what to enter in this field. For this purpose, we will use hint text, and we will pass a string of please enter your email address now. Now if we reload our project, you can see that let's remove the warnings padding constant. You can see that the hint text is in a black shape, black color. So first of all, let's give some styling to this hint text. For this purpose, we will use the colors.gray. Now let's define this colors.gray in our app utils files, as we have defined our colors that we are using before. For this purpose, we will use color gray, and we will set its equal to colors.gray and add a comma at the end. Now let's copy the color name, and let's replace this color type with color gray. Now if we reload our project, you can see that there is an error. Let's see what's the issue. Let's go to app utils files. As you can see that we had to add semicolon here instead of comma. So now let's go to our registration screen, and if we reload our project, you can see that the hint text color is changed. So now let's decrease the font size. We will set the font size equal to 12, and if we reload our project, you can see that now the hint text is looking fine. And we will use the same font family Montserrat that we are using throughout our application. So next, what we want to do is we want to add border to our text form field. So first of all, we will add a focus border. Focus border means whenever the user have clicked on our text field widget. So for focus border, we will use underline input border, and inside this we will use border side, and for border side we will pass a color. We will use color white here, and same we will do for the border. Even though the text field is not focused, we will use the same strategy, and we will go for underline input border, and same inside this we will use border side, and for border side we will give a color, and for color we will use color white. Let's add comma at the end because it is helpful for indentation. After that, we will add some content padding for our text form field widget. For content padding, we will use edge insets dot only, and we will give some padding from the top, and we will set it equal to 15.0. Now if we reload our project, let's reload our project, you can see that the text is now at the bottom of the text form field, which looks more cool. Now let's add some size box of height 50 from above the text please enter your information. As you can see that now this is a gap between these two things, the text field and our text widget that we have used recently. Now we can do is we can copy and paste the same text field that we have used before, and we can easily replace our hint text, and we can add here please enter your name. If we reload our project, you can see that the hint text is changed, and enter your name, we just place it to enter your name. And what we can do is we can copy this text editing controller, and let's create a new controller. Let's change it to name controller, and let's copy this name controller and replace here with the email controller that we have used before, and instead of icon of email we will use a person icon. And now if we reload our project, you can see that we have changed the text field and we have reused the code that we have done before. Let's give some space in between them, and we will give it a height of 25. So in no time we have developed another text form field. But the issue is this: we want to have four text form fields, and it will cover a lot of space, and it will be a lot of code to go through if we want to make some changes or make it dynamic or change the color of it step by step. So to resolve these issues, what we can do is we can extract this Flutter widget. As you can see that the Flutter has automatically extracted this widget for us. What we can do is let's copy this widget from here, and let's create a new directory in lib folder with the name of widgets. That's how we can arrange our code files. Inside this we can create a new dart file with the name of input underscore field underscore widget, and inside this let's paste our code. And to remove this error, let's import material.dart. As you can see that most of the errors are gone. Now to remove this error, we have to import apputils files, because we have declared our all colors in apputils. Now let's move back to our registration screen, and we have to import input field widget dart file to remove this error. So now as you can see that we need to have two input fields. So what we can do, we can just copy this code and replace with our previous code for our first text field. Now as you can see that we have, with the same name, we are getting the parameter email controller. Let's reload our project to see that if our code is working. You can see the code is working, it's still the same, and at both places you can see the same hint text. Now how can we resolve this? We can make it dynamic. So first of all, let's change the parameter name that we are getting. Let's change it to controller, so the we can't be confused after that we have developed. Now replace this controller, email controller, with the controller, and now we can declare another string with the name of hint text. Let's make it required in the constructor, this dot hint text. Now what we can do is we can replace the hint text that we have statically written with this variable. Here we can remove this please enter your email, and we can replace it with a hint text. Now let's remove constant to resolve this error, because we are using constant at the top. Let's do input decoration constant. Okay, now it will work fine. To remove these yellow warnings, we have to import constant. So now what we can do is we can also change the icon, because we are using the same icon in this code, but we want to make it dynamic. For this, what we can do is we can declare another variable with the type of icon data, and we will give it a name icon. Now let's make it also required in the constructor. We will add a required keyword, and we will use this dot icon. Now let's replace the icons dot email with the icon variable that we have just created. We have to remove this constant from the start to resolve this error. Now we have made our input field widget dynamic. So let's move to registration screen, and let's remove the values that are already given. We will replace email controller with controller, and email, we will have to remove the email controller, and we will put name controller here. After that, let's give an icon, and we will use icons dot person, and for hint text we will add please, or just enter your name. As you can see, all the errors are gone, and we will do the same in our second input field widget. We will replace the email controller with controller, and after that we will add the icon. And for icon, this time we will use icons dot email, and for the hint text we will use enter your email. In a string we will use enter your email. So as you can see that now the errors are gone, and if we reload our project, you can see that both the text fields have different attributes. So now what we need to do next is we need to have another text field for the password, where the user can enter his or her password. So let's copy the code above that we have written above, and let's paste it down here. And as you can see, we have to declare another text editing controller. Let's copy this line and paste it down here, and we will rename it to password controller. Yes, password controller. And let's copy this password controller and replace it with the email controller. Now we can change the icon to icons dot password, and for the hint text we can change it to enter your password. And now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a third text input field where we can enter a password, but the password is not obscured, it's in plain text as we can read. So what we can do is, let's move back to our input field widget. As you can we can set a boolean here. We will set final bool, and we will add obscure text, and in the constructor we will initialize it equal to false, because we do not want to make it required every time when we use this widget. So now what we can do is, we can replace false with the obscure text, and in our registration screen we will call obscure text, and we will set it equal to true. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the text inside our password text field is obscured, and it more looks like password now. So the next step is, we have to declare a text field, another text field. This time it will be different. What we will achieve from here is, we will use the functionality of onTap for our text form field, from where the user will get a pop-up for its birthday and can select a birthday from the calendar. So now we will give the same padding that we have given above. For the style, we will give same style that we are using above. For style, we will give color white. After that, font family, we will use the same font family Montserrat, what we are using already in our project. Let's add Montserrat to our font family, and after that what we will do is, we will align our text to the center. For this purpose we will use text align dot center. We are just going to make our text field like the above that we have used before. For the controller, we have to declare another controller with the name of birth date controller. Now let's initialize it at the top. For this purpose, what we can do is, we can copy our initialization for the controller that we have done before, and just rename it to our birth date controller. So now we have done our controller, initialized our controller, and after that what we want to achieve is, we will add decoration to our input text field. For this purpose we will use decoration, and in this we will pass input decoration. And for the hint style, we will use text style, and inside this, for the color we will use color gray, and for the font size we will set equal to 14.0, and for the font family we will use the same font family Montserrat that we are using above. Let's copy it and paste it here. I am just copying and pasting it because I do not want to make a spelling mistake in here. So now let's reload our project. You can't see the hint text because we haven't added the hint text yet. We only added the hint style. To resolve this issue, let's add hint text, and for hint text we can enter your birthday. Now let's reload our project. You can see that there is a hint text in our text form field. What is missing now is that we have to add focus border to our text field. For this purpose we will use underline input border, and for border side we will use border side and give it a color of color white. Same goes for the border throughout the application. We will use the border parameter, and we will pass underline input border in it also. And for the border side we will use border side, and we will give it a color of color white. Now if we reload our project, you can see that we are missing our icon, prefix icon that we are using in the start of our other input field widgets. To resolve this issue, let's add the prefix icon in our input decoration. For prefix icon we will use icon, and inside this we can call icons dot calendar month. Now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a icon, but its color is gray because we haven't given any styling to it. For this we can use color white, and for the size we can give it a 25.0 that we have used before. So now if we reload our project, you can see that the icon is in white color. So now let's give space from the above text field. We will use 25 pixels, and now if we reload, you can see that now the text fields are aligned perfectly. So now what we will do is, we will use the on tab functionality of the text form field, And inside on tab functionality, what we will do is first of all we will declare a variable date time, and we will name it date, and we will set it equal to date time and pass 1900. What it represents is it will get all the dates from the 19th century in our date variable. After that we want to get the focus of our application. Whenever the user taps on the text form field, the focus will be shifted to the pop-up of the birthday calendar that is shown on the screen. For this we will request focus from the focus node, and after that we will use the variable that we defined, and date is equal to await, and we will use a show date picker method. It is not the default methods that are available for Flutter. So for this we have to import a package in our pubspec YAML file with the name of intl. Now we have to get our dependencies to add this package into our project. To add this in our project, let's press pub get, and after some time the dependencies will be added into our project. Now we can use that method. So now let's put await in the start, and after that we will use show date picker. And if we use this method, you can see that we have to pass some parameters in it to use this method. So first of all, what we will do is we will add exclamation at the end, and we will indent our code so we can easily do the changes. For initial date we will use datetime.now. That means that whenever the calendar is loaded, the initial date will be set to the date of the current date, and after that first date we will add date time, and we will add 1900, and for the last date we will make it date time, and we will add 2100. So the latest date or the last date will be of the 21st century and not beyond of it. So now let's reload our project, and if we click on our text field, you can see that there is a calendar pop-up from where the user can select the date. You can see there is a listing of the months or years from which the user can select any year. Let's select 1998, and from here it can select the date. And if we select it, but it is not showing in the text field because we haven't set this value equal to our text field controller. To resolve this issue, what we can do is let's declare a string variable with the name of date formatter, and we will convert our date to string first, and after that we will use the date time variable, and we will give it a name of dt. And for date time, what we can do is we will we will convert the string to proper date time variable. So in here let's pass the date formatter variable that we have used above. After that we can declare a formatter in sense that if the user selects the date, in which format we want it to show to the user. Now in here what we can do is we can declare the format. For the format I will be using a small d double d at the start with capital 4 M's, and at the end will be the years. So the format of the date will be, in the start will be the date, then month, and then the year. Now what we can do is we can use our birth date controller, and we will set it equal to a formatter that we have used declared above. For the formatter dot format, and we will pass the dt variable of our date time variable that we have declared above. So to resolve this error, we are directly storing it to a birth date controller, but we have to use birth date controller dot text. Now the error is gone, and now if we reload our project, let's reload our project and see what is it working or not. And now let's go to enter your birthday and select any date. Let's select 23, and if we press OK, you can see that in the birth date controller the date of birth variable is assigned, the value is assigned to birth date controller. So now we have completed our text fields that we are going to use. Now what we want to do next is we will give the user the ability to select its gender from the options that we will give. So for this we can use text, and we will pass gender, and for the styling, for the color we will use color white, and for font size we will First of all, let's give some letter spacing between the gender variable, and we will set it to 1. And for font size we will give 14.0, and for the font family we will use the same font family Montserrat that we are using throughout our code. Let's copy this and paste it down here. Now after that, what we will give font weight, and we will set it equal to bold because we want to make it look like a heading. And now if we let's add the constant to remove these warnings and reload our project, you can see that the gender variable is in the center of the screen. To resolve this issue, what we can do is we can wrap our text field inside a column, and we will set the cross axis alignment property of the column to cross axis alignment dot start. That's how the text fields will be the text will be at the aligned at the start of the column. And for let's give a size box of height 10.0 to give it some spacing between the text field and the gender text. After that, let's wrap our now before wrapping our column into a padding widget, what we want to do is we will have some row inside our column to represent our two radio list styles, from where the user can select the gender and the female gender or the male gender. For this purpose we will use row widget, and inside this we will use children, which takes in array of widgets. Inside this we will use flexible we will using flexible because we want it to cover the children's of the row, to cover the space that is available. So for this for flex we will use for no not for flex we want to use flex fit dot loose, but we have to replace this flex with fit. We will use flex fit dot loose. And for child property we can use a radio list style, and inside this radio list style we can do the styling, how the radio list style is shown. For the content padding we will add edge inserts dot 0. And after that, for group value is the value that will be assigned to the list style whenever we click on the radio buttons. So let's declare it above, and what we can do is we can declare a string variable with the name of gender selected, and we will initialize it equal to male. So whenever the user comes to this registration screen, the male will be selected by default. So now let's go to our radio list style, and for the group value we can add gender selected, and for the active color we will give color white. And for the title we can add text male, we will add text widget, and inside this we will add male in capital letters. After this, let's give some styling to this text, and for this purpose we will use style, and inside this we will pass text style. And in text style what we can do is we will set font size equal to 14.0, and for the color we can use color white, and we will use font family Montserrat that we have used above in our project. Now we can also make it bold. For how we can use font weight, and we can set it equal to font weight dot bold. Now to remove these warnings, yellow warnings, we have to import constant modifier at the start of the radio list style. And now if you can see that we are missing a method, a parameter named onChanged. So to resolve this issue, first of all we have to, after the text widget, we have to set the value of this radio list style whenever the user clicks on it equal to male. And on changed, what we will do is we will get the value inside a value parameter, and we will use set state. We use set state to change the state of the variable, and the gender selected variable that we have declared above, we will set it equal to value dot string that we have defined above of male. And now we can print the gender selected to make sure in the console that we can see that the user have selected the gender. And now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a beautiful male list style, and it is already selected. So now what we need is we need to create another list style. For this we can copy this code and reuse this code by pasting it down below, and we can replace the attributes that we do not need or we want to change. For male we can set it equal to female. Let's make it into capital letters. and after that we will set the value equal to female. And now it is done, and if we reload our project, you can see that there are two radio list tiles, and whenever the user select each of them, you can see in the console that the value female or male is being selected. So now what we will do is we will give some padding from the sides to our column to make it more in synchronization with our above form. And for this we will use edge insist dot symmetric, and for this we will give horizontally 22.0 pixels padding from left and from right. And now we have declared our gender selection for the user. We will give some space between the text field and the gender text to make it look more beautiful. Now what we need is we need to have a button here through which the user can submit its details to us, and we can create its account. For this purpose what we will do is we will use another size box with a height of 60. Let's use the size box and give it a height of 60. After that let's use the child parameter, and we will pass it in a material button. And for on pressed we will just put the empty callback here, and later we will put the validation code inside there. And for the elevation we will give it 5.0. So now what we will do is we will give a child property, and inside child property we will use another container to show our button and the styling to our button. For the decoration we will use a box decoration, and inside box decoration we will set the background color of our button equals to color white. And after that we will set the border radius, and for border radius we will use border radius dot circular, and we will give it a value of 30 pixels to make our container the button sides more circular. And after that we will use in the constraints property of the container. For this we will use box constraints inside it, and here we can define the width or the height of the button what we want it to be, the minimum or the maximum. For the maximum height we will set the value equal to 60, and we will not provide any width because we want it to cover the whole space that is available. For the alignment of the child inside the container we will use alignment dot center, and for child we will use a text widget, and inside text widget we will pass sign up text. As you can see there's a beautiful white backgrounded button with the text sign up that is available. So now let's give some styling to the text that is shown on the button, and for the text style we will give color, and we will use colors dot black here. And if we reload our project you can see that the text is now changed to dark black color. And for the font size we will give a font size of 16.0 pixels, and after that we will make it more bold. And before that let's change the font family. As you can see that it is not in the synchronization of the above font that we are using. For font family you will use Montserrat. We can declare a variable of string with the name of font family, and we can set it equal to Montserrat, and add semicolon at the end because we do not want to copy paste again and again. Let's make it dynamic, and we can replace now this Montserrat with the font family variable that we defined in the app utils files. We can replace all the Montserrat family that we have used statically, and we can replace it with font family. So now we have made our font family dynamic also. And now what we will do is we will use this button inside our login screen. So what is the best way to reuse a widget is we can copy and paste this code, but we can also extract this Flutter widget, and we can use this we can save it in a separate file, and we can use on another screen and anywhere. So for this we will give this widget name a primary button name, and we can refactor this button. As you can see that the Flutter has extracted this widget for us, and we can add constant at the top to remove the warning. Now let's copy this primary button code from here, and inside our widgets directory we can create a new Dart file. with the name of, let's give it a name of primary underscore button, and inside this we can place this code, and let's add a material library to remove these errors. Now what we can do is, to make it dynamic, we can add a string variable here at the top, and we can name it equal to text, so that the title on the button we can change it, and in the constructor we will make this text variable required. And now let's use this text variable, and let's replace sign up with this text. And to resolve the issues of AppUtil file, we have to import the apputils.dart file in this dart file to remove these errors. And now let's get back to our registration screen, and let's pass before that let's import the primary button dart file, and now we will add the text parameter, and we can add sign up in here, and we will add constant to remove these warnings. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the code is working fine, and the button is in the same style that we had declared before. Now what we will do is, we need to have a text down below our button which will represents the customer, that if he or she has already an account, then he or she can move directly to the login screen. For this purpose we will use a text, and we will set it value to already have an account, and it will be in the center of the column widget that we have used before. So now let's give some styling to this, because it is in black color. Let's give some text style, and we will set the color of this text style equal to color white. And for the font family, we will use the font family variable that we have declared before in the apputils file. And after that let's add constant to remove the warnings. Now if we had reloaded the project, you can see that the text color is changed. And now after this we can wrap our text widget inside a row, because we want to have two different type of text, because we want to make the other text clickable so that the user can move to the login screen. For this purpose we will set the row property main axis alignment to main axis alignment dot center. And after that we can use this text widget. Let's copy this text widget from here, and we will reuse it down below in the row widget. And let's remove this already have an account, and let's replace it with sign in button. So now what we will do is, we will make this sign in button a bit bigger. For this we can change the font size, and before changing the font size, let's set the font weight, and we will set it font weight dot bold. Now we have changed the font weight of our text. Now let's increase the size of it, and we will set the size to font size 15.0. And now if we reload our project, you can see that there is no space between the button and the text below. For this purpose we will use the size box above the text, and we will give it a height of 25. Now you can see that it is perfectly aligned. And now if we select the text field, you can see there is an error of render flex overflowed. This is because in the scaffold we can set the property of resize to avoid bottom inset equal to false. That's how we can resolve the render flex overflowed error. And now if we restart our application and just again check the text field, now if the software keyboard is toggled, then there is no error. Let's check all the text fields if they are working or not. The email text field is working. And now for the password, if we enter any text, you can see that the text is in obscured form. And later if we select any birth date, it shows, and the genders male or female are also working. Now what we want to do is, we want to add some validation in our form. For example, if we remove all the data, and whenever the user click on the sign up button, there should be a pop-up telling the user that you have to add your name before continuing to the next step. For this purpose, what we can do is, we can declare a method with the name of isValidate, and inside this we can add some checks to check if the user have added email, password, gender, selected gender or date of birth. For first of all, what we can do is, let's get to our apputils file, and here we can declare show scaffold method. what it will do is whenever there is an text field which is empty, we want to show a user interface and pop up to the user that you haven't added the name or anything else. For this method, what we can do is we will take two parameters of one will be the build context and second will be the string will be the string text that will be the error that will be showing to the user. Now we will return a scaffold messenger, and we will use its method dot show snack bar, and inside snack bar we will pass the text variable that we will get in our isValidate method the error that we have to show to the user. Now we have created our show scaffold method. Now we will move back to our registration screen and we will check if the name controller dot text is empty. Then we will call this method show scaffold and we will pass our text inside it which will be please enter your name. Now as you can see that the isValidate method have a return type boolean. For this purpose we will make sure if all the checks are true, there are no errors or the user have entered all the data, then we can return true at the end. And if there are any errors, we will return false so that it will show the error box to the user. So now in our primary button we haven't declared on pressed callback. So to resolve this issue, let's go to our primary button widget, and for this we will declare a variable here with the name of final void. It will be the data type will be the void callback and we will name it on pressed. To make we need to have this in all the places wherever this primary button is called. So for this purpose we will make it required. And now let's copy this on pressed and replace the empty callback that we have done in the material button. Let's copy this from here and let's replace it in the material button on pressed callback. So now we have made a button dynamic on the on pressed options. So let's add on pressed here, and inside on pressed what we will do is we will call a method isValidate inside a if statement to check if the isValidate is true. Then we can print that the data is validated, and if it is false, then it will show the scaffold that we have already designed before. So now if we restart our application and just let's we have added the name controller check, and if we press on the sign up button, you can see that there is an pop-up showing the user that please enter your name. And now if the user enters his or her name and after that if we press on sign up, you can see that in the console data validated is printed out. So now what we can do is we can use this method of checking if the name controller or any controller is empty, and we will use scaffold to show the errors. So now what we can do is we can replace we can change the controllers, and at that place we can change it with birth controller, password controller, email controller, and for the errors we will make sure to change it to the corresponding text field's name. So now if we restart our application, you can see that whenever press on a sign up button, the first condition will be triggered and it will ask the user to please enter your name. And after that if the user again press on the sign up, you can see that the error will be shown, please enter your email, and it will be so on for the password. The user have to enter the password, and for the date of birth we have to add it, the user have to add it to proceed next in the application. So as you can see that the form is completed and the validation is completed. If all the data is entered, you can see in the console that the data validated is printed out. So what we need to do is we can add here a navigator in the future, and whenever the user presses this button, it will navigate to the landing screen or the home screen of the application that we are going to develop. So now we have completed our registration screen, and in the next step what we will do is we will in the screens directory we will create another dart file with the name of login underscore screen, and inside this we will declare another stateful widget with the name of login screen. And to remove this error, we have to import material dot, and let's remove a placeholder and replace it with scaffold. And inside body we will pass a text login screen, and we will make it we will wrap it inside a center widget to make sure that it is in the center of the screen. So now in the registration screen we will make this text sign in clickable. For this purpose we will wrap it inside a gesture detector, and to remove these errors we have to remove the constant above. And on the on tab functionality, what we will do is we will use navigator here. Navigator is used to push screens or pop screens around. For example, if we are on the landing screen and if we want to move to the home screen, we will use navigator. And for navigator we will use push method, and inside push we have to pass the context and material page route. And inside material page route we have to give the widget name like login screen in our case, where we want to move. Now if we have reload our project and click on sign in screen, you can see that we have moved towards the login screen which we have declared above. So now in the login screen what we will do is we will change the background color of the scaffold and set it equal to our primary color that we are using throughout the app. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the background color is changed. Now let's remove this center widget from the body, and we are going to use the safe area first of all to make our content inside the safe area, so that the notches do not disturb our content. So inside safe area we will use column, because we are going to align our elements inside our login screen in a vertical form. So first of all what we will do is we will give some height from the top, and for this purpose we will use a media query again. And for media query we will use media query dot of context, and then we will pass the size, and we will pass the height, and we will multiply it with 0.06 to give some space. So now let's have a look on what we are going to achieve on login screen. We need to have two text fields and all the titles like we have done in the sign up screen. So first of all what we will do is we will use a row widget, and we will use the children widget inside of it. And for row we will make it main axis alignment, and we will set it equal to main axis alignment dot center. And in the row first of all what we will do is we will use a container to make those symbols, those designs that we have seen on the login screen. And for the children's what we will do is we will use a container. Inside a column we will use a container, and we will give a width of 20.0, and we will give the height to it of 10.0. Now for the decoration we will use a box decoration, and inside box decoration we will give the color to this container, which will be color white. And after that we will give some border radius to our container, because we want to make the shape circular at the end. For this purpose we will use border radius, and inside it we will pass border radius a dot only. So that's how we can give border radius to only the right or the left or bottom or at the top of the container. In our case we will use top right, and we will give a radius dot circular, and we will set the value to 20.0. And now we will use the bottom right portion of the container, and for this we will also give a radius dot circular, and we will set the value 20.0. Now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a shape with the top right and bottom right border circular radiuses. Now for the column we will make it main axis alignment dot center, so that all the elements are aligned in the center of the column. So now what we will do is we will give some height between our design of 1.5 pixels. And after that what we will do is we will again we will use a container. This time we will give it a width of 20.0 and a height of 2.0 only. And after that we will give the decoration as we have given above in our previous case. And now in the box decoration what we will do is we will give a color, and we will set it equal to color white. And after that we will use the border radius parameter, and inside border radius again we will pass border radius dot only. And again for this container, as we have done in our previous container, we will give a circular radius to top right portion, and we will set it equal to border radius dot circular and give it a value of 20.0, and same for the bottom right portion, and we will give it a radius dot circular and we will give it a value again of 20.0. Now add constant to remove these yellow warnings. Let's add constant at the top. Now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a small line under our previous design to complete our design for this. Now what we will do is we will add another size box with a width of 10.0, and after that we will use a text widget in which we will add the title of our app, that will be the jack of all trades, and we have abbreviated it to JOT. And for the style we will give it a text style, and for the color we will use color white. Let's give a font size of 25.0, and for the font weight we will make it font weight dot bold, and in the font family we will use the font family that we have used above of Montserrat. So you can see that it is aligned underneath our design. What we need is we want to align it at the right side of the design. So let's cut it out from column, and let's paste it inside the row widget. Let's paste it here, and now if we reload our project, you can see that it is perfectly aligned at the right side of our design. So now what we will do next is we have to add the welcome back text to our users if they have created the account before and they are coming back to our application on the login screen. What we can do is we can declare another text box. Before that we will give it some height of 40.0 pixels to give some spacing between the title and the welcome back text. For this we will use another text widget, and inside this we will enter welcome back and the exclamation mark at the end. So now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a text but we have to improve its styling. For this we will use text style widget, and inside text style first of all we will change the color of the text and we will set it equal to color white, and after that we will set the font family equal to a font family variable that includes Montserrat font family, and after that we will set the font size equal to 20.0 pixels, and for the font weight we will make it font weight dot bold. So now if we reload our project after adding constant, let's reload our project. You can see that the text welcome back looks more elegant now. After that what we need is we need to add another text to ask the user to please enter their details. For this purpose, first of all we will give a size box of height 50 pixels, and after that we will use another text widget, and inside text widget we will pass a string of please enter your details here, enter your details below, and after that we will give some styling to our text field text, and for this purpose we will change the color to color white, and we will give the font weight to this for font weight let's give a font size of 14.0, and after that we will set the font family equal to font family that is Montserrat font family, and let's add constant at the top. And if we reload our project, you can see that there is a text please enter your details below, and we will make it a bold to be in more synchronization of the previous UI. So after this it is easy for us now to create the login screen because we have extracted our widgets. What we need to do is we just need to call those widgets, and our login screen will be done in less than 5 minutes now. What we need to do is first of all we need to have a text field here for the user to enter their email address. For this we can call our input field widget. Let's call this widget input field, and we have to provide the required parameters. So first of all let's declare above the text editing controllers. First of all let's add text editing controller data type, and after that we will give the name and initialize with it text editing controller, and same we will do for the password controller also. Let's name it password controller, and again initialize it with the text editing controller. So we have created our two controllers that we need. Let's use first controller, email controller, and for the hint text we will add enter your email, and for the icon we will give it an icon of email. For this we will use icons dot email. So we have created our input field in just less than a 1 minute. As you can see that the text field is shown on our screen. So now we can just copy and paste this code down below, and we can change the uh, icons, the hint text, and the controller. First of all, let's change the controller to password controller, and then the hint text change it to enter your password, and for the icon we can replace it with icons dot password, and for the obscure text we can set it equal to true. So in not more than 30 seconds we have created our another text field for our password. Let's give some spacing between the text fields. This is the power of extracting our widgets out to another dart file, so we can reuse them inside our project. So now what we need is we need to add a button for login, so that whenever the user presses that button, it will validate the data if the user have entered the data or not. For this purpose we can use again the primary button widget that we have created, and for the text we will add sign in, and on press we will just for the moment passed an empty callback here, and let's add comma and indent our code. And now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a button created underneath our form. Now what we need is we will copy this code from here, for which we created for already have an account text in our sign up screen, registration screen. So now let's paste this code here, and let's copy the exact height that we have given in the registration screen after the button. And now we reload our project. You can see that there is a text of already have an account. We can customize this text according to our needs, and we can replace the already with the don't have an account, and sign in we will replace it with sign up. You can see we have created our login screen in no time, and in the gesture detector of sign up we can replace it with the registration screen. So when the user press on the sign up button, it will take it to the sign up screen, and when the user press on the sign in button, it will take it to the sign in login screen. So now what we can do is we can also add validation to our login screen. So for this purpose what we can do is we can simply copy the is validation method from the registration screen, and we can use it inside our login screen. Before we do that, let's give some padding to our text fields that are in our login screen. For this purpose we can wrap our column widget inside a padding widget, and we will give padding symmetrically from horizontal. We will give it 15.0, so from all the sides the padding is 15.0, and now it looks more beautiful, the login screen. So now let's move back towards our is validation method that we can use for the sign in of our login screen. For this we can use if is validate. We will use the same method that we have declared in our sign up screen. What we can do is let's copy the is validate method from our registration screen. Let's go down below the file. Here is our method. Let's copy this, and we can simply paste it in our login screen at the bottom. So now we only need here is the email controller and only the password controller. So we can remove all the remaining checks that we are not going to use. Let's replace this name controller with email controller, and at the end let's replace it with please enter your email. So now we have declared our is validate method also for our login screen. So now if we go to our login screen and press on sign in, you can see that there is a pop-up showing that please enter your email. So if the user enters the email, then it will show the pop-up of please enter your password, and user have to enter the password widget here. So now so we have created our login screen and sign up screen, this beautiful minimalist UI. So now what we can do is in our main.dart file we are landing the user on the registration screen. We can change it to login screen, and whenever the user will come again to our app, it will land on the login screen. As you can see, after the restart of the application, the login screen is showing first. In this video, we will learn how to create beautiful onboarding screens with the help of Flutter basic widgets. Furthermore, we will learn how to create list view and map our data with the corresponding widgets in the list view. And lastly, we will create a detailed section for each item of the list view, and in this screen we will learn how we can create expansion tiles in Flutter. So without any further delay, let's start coding. So I have already created a new project and added few things. For example, debug show check mode banner, I have set it equal to false, and after that I have created a screen directory, and inside screen directory I have created 3 Dart files. First one is the onboarding screen, a stateful widget, and inside onboarding screen I am using a scaffold, and in the center of the screen I am only showing a text onboarding screen. After that I have a vegetable detail screen, and the third and the last screen is a vegetable listing screen. In this we are also using scaffold, and inside scaffold we are using a text widget that is showing vegetable listing screen in the center of screen. After that, in the utility directory I have already defined some colors. As you can see that there are 2 colors for every vegetable, because we are going to use linear gradient in the background in the list view and also on the onboarding screens. And as you can see, I have a model directory, and inside model directory I have defined a vegetable model in which I am including a title, a subtitle, image, and list of color for gradient colors, a description, and a list of string for nutrition values like the energy and everything, and the headline or the tagline you can say. And after that you can see there is a data directory, and inside data directory I have a Dart file that is a list of vegetables. Let me make it more clear. So for the vegetables array I have defined the type, that is vegetable model, that we have defined before, and inside the vegetables array there are different elements or the objects you can say of a vegetable. As you can see there are different data. For the title I have defined the name of the vegetable, the subtitle, the headline, the image. Inside image I have defined the image name, that is in the asset folder, and also for the nutrition there is an array of data that we will map inside the expansion tile inside our vegetable detail view screen. And after that I have an asset directory. As you can see that in the vegetable array, in the image parameter I have defined the names that are same to the image name that is in the assets directory. As you can see that these images have a transparent background, so I am using these images of different vegetables inside our application. So let's move to the next part. The most important part is that we have to add these assets inside our pubspec YAML file. So before that I can show you that I have already added the assets directory inside the pubspec YAML file. Let's open the pubspec.yaml and let's scroll down. As you can see that inside assets I have defined the directory where all the asset images are present. Please make sure to add these asset images to pubspec YAML so that we can access these images later. So now without any further delay let's start our application. As you can see that after a few moments the application will be up and running. As you can see that we are on the onboarding screen. Before that let's make the simulator a little bit bigger so that we can easily see the changes on the screen, and let's hide the project panel or the directory panel so that the code is more clear. So now let's move on to the onboarding screen. First of all let's remove the text from the center of the screen, and in place of the text we will use a container. So to use the container we have to remove the constant modifier at the top. Let's remove constant, and now the error is gone. For the container the width we will give it a media query dot of context dot size and dot width, and I will use and multiply it with 0.95. So why are we using media query? So that on any device on which the application is running it will get the size of that device. Same for the height, we will use media query dot of context dot size, and this time we will use dot height, and now we will multiply it with 0.85. And for the child for the color we will use colors dot black for now, so that we can just see the changes on the screen. So now if we reload our project you can see that there is a container in the center of the screen. So what we can do is, if we want to cover the whole screen, we don't know how much the width or the height is, we can simply use a double dot infinity. And if we reload our project, you can see that the container is covering the whole width of the device. This is a small hint that you can use in your projects. So now if we reload our project and get back to the width and height, so now what we will do is we will use decoration. And for the container decoration, we use box decoration, and inside box decoration we will use border radius to just circle the edges of our container. And for the border radius, we will use border radius dot circular and give it a 35 pixels. So now as you can see, there is an error because we have defined a color outside the box decoration. So if we are using box decoration, then we have to define color inside the box decoration of container. So now after reloading the project, you can see that there are beautiful curved edges of our container. So now moving on to the next part, what we need is let's list down what are the things that we need. First of all, let's use column because we are going to vertically align all the widgets inside our container. So I have listed all the elements that we are going to develop. First of all, we will create an image of a vegetable that we are going to show at the top of our column widget. So first of all, what we will do is we will use image.asset, and inside this we will define the directory where our image is present. So our image is present inside the assets directory with the name of bell peppers .png. So what we will do is we will simply type here bell peppers .png, the extension of our image. So to remove this error, we have to remove this constant from the top. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the image of our vegetable is present at the top of our column. What we want to do is we want to move this image to the center. For this we will use the main axis alignment property of column, and we will use main axis alignment dot center. So now that our image is showing on the screen, what our next step is, we will show the name of the vegetable. For this purpose we will use a text widget, and inside the text widget we will type the name of our vegetable. For now we are doing it statically, but after that we will convert it to dynamic. The list we have created, we will attach the list to this column widget. So now we will give styling to this text. For this purpose we will use text style, and inside text style we will define the color. And for the color, for now we are going to use colors.white. Now let's reload our project. You can see that the name of the vegetable is in very small font. So what we will do is we will increase the font size to 36 pixels. And now if we reload our project, you can see that it looks more good now. Next we will make it bold. For this we will use font weight dot bold property. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the bell peppers are in a bold form. So now what we will do is we need another text widget to show the headline or the tagline of the vegetable. For this purpose we will simply copy the text above and paste it down below. Now let's add some information about the vegetable, and let's change the font size. We will keep it to the default font size that we get with the text widget. Let's remove this font size, and also we want it to be the normal text. We do not want it to be bold, so we can remove this also. Now if we reload our project, you can see that it is showing exactly where we want it. We can use text align, and for this purpose we can set it to text align dot center, so that our text is aligned in the center of our column widget. So what we will do is for now we have only a small value here in the text string. What we will do is we can copy and paste it multiple times so that we have more text, so that we can handle it. As you can see that I have added more text, but the sides of the container are very close to the text. So how can we resolve this? We can add some padding to the text widget. For this we will use edge insets dot symmetric, and for the horizontal I will give 15 pixels padding. So now if we reload our project, you can see that there is some padding at the sides of the text, but the heading is very close to the vegetable name. What we can do is we can add a size box above with a height of 10 pixels. Now as you can see that there is a small distance between the vegetable name and the tagline. Similarly we can give a size box between the image and the vegetable name. This time we will give it a height of 30 to give some space. Now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a gap between the image and the vegetable name. So now what we want to do next is we want to draw the page indicators on which page we are. Before that we will wrap our center widget inside a page view builder. So basically page view builder is the main widget of Flutter that we will use to create onboarding screen. So now let's type page view dot builder, and page view builder require two parameters. First one is the item count. Item count contains how much screens we want to make, so we will add 3. And for the item builder we have to return a widget inside the item builder. So we have already created this widget of container, so we will simply copy this from here, remove the child, and we will paste it inside item builder. So let's remove the comma from the end and add semicolon. To remove these errors, what we want is we want to pass the context inside item builder, context of our widget, and after that we have to pass the index also. So now if we reload our project, as you can see that no error, and there are 3 screens. As you can see, we are swiping, but there are 3 screens. The vegetables are the same, the name is same, because we are giving the static data. So to make it dynamic, what we can do is we can simply go into our center widget, that is the main widget. Firstly let's start with changing the color of our background. So for this purpose we are going to use gradient, and gradient requires an array of colors. So for we will pass colors.black and colors.gray. So as you can see that there is an error. So what we will do is we have to specify the gradient, which gradient we are going to use. In our scenario we are going to use linear gradient, and inside linear gradient there is a colors property, and inside colors property we have to pass the array of colors. So now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a beautiful gradient, but the gradient is from left side to the right side. What we want is we want it from the top center to bottom center. For this purpose there are properties with the name of begin, and inside begin what we can do is we can set the alignment of the gradient, and we will set it equal to top center. That is the beginning of our gradient. And for the end, similarly we can set the alignment. We can set the alignment to alignment dot bottom center. As you can see, now if we reload our project, you can see that the gradient is starting from the top and it's coming to the bottom. Same goes for all the screens. So now what we will do is we want to change according to the data that is present in our vegetables array that we have defined in our data.dart file. So you can see there are gradient colors, color onions dark, color bell pepper dark. There are different colors that we are going to use from the app utils file that we have defined there. So now what we will do is instead of using the colors here, the array, we can simply call the vegetables array that we have defined in data.dart, and for the index we can pass the index that we are defining inside the item builder, and for the index from the index property we can call the dot gradient colors. As you can see that the error has gone, and now if we reload our project, you can see that there are the bell peppers colors that we have defined in our data.dart file. So now moving to the next part, what we can do is we can change the image.asset path of our image, what we have statically defined. In the start I have already explained that I have named the images same equal to the vegetable names. So we can simply call the vegetables, and from the index, same index, we can call the image. So I have reloaded the project. You can see that inside our vegetables array the image names are the same as of the vegetable name. So now if we swipe, you can see that the images are changing and the gradient colors are changing, but the vegetable name and the vegetable taglines are the same. So what we can do is for the text, title text or the vegetable name text, we can use the same strategy. We will use the vegetable array and the index that is coming from the item builder, and we will use the property dot title. Let's add constant to remove these warnings. And now same, let's go for the tagline, headline. Let's remove this, and after removing this we will simply call the vegetable array. We will pass in the index that is coming from item builder, and we will call the property description or the headline, sorry, and we will remove the constant and add constant modifier everywhere to remove the yellow warnings. Now if we reload our project, you can see that the headlines are changed according to the vegetables, and almost everything is we have changed everything that we need here. So now let's swipe, and as you can see that the images, the name of the vegetable and the headline of the vegetables all are changing. So now let's make the count to 4, and now if we reload our project, you can see that the 4 page views are created for different vegetables. As you can see, sweet potatoes are added at the end of the page view. So now what we want to do is we want to create the page indicator, so that we can show to the user at which page he is present and how much of the pages are remaining. So for this purpose, what we can do is we can create another function with the return type of widget. We will name this function build page indicators, and inside this we will return a row, because we are going to show the page indicators in the row format. That is why we are using row. Inside row, first of all, what we will do is we will set the main axis alignment to main axis alignment dot center. So that's how we can align all the widgets in the center of our row. And after that, the row accepts array of children. So in our scenario, what we can do is we can simply use a list, and we will give it a type of widget, and we will use the method dot generate. And inside generate, it takes 2 parameters. Firstly, it will takes the count. Here we are going to pass 4, and after that it takes the index parameter. And after index parameter, we are going to call a simple container. That's how we can also pass the array of widgets to the children. And inside the container, what we will do is we will do set the width equal to 10 pixels and height equal to 10 pixels, and we will use margin so that we can give spacing between the containers. So for the margin, we will use edge insets dot symmetric, and we will set it equal to horizontal 4 pixels. And for the decoration, inside the box decoration of container, we will set the shape of the container equal to box shape dot circle. So now let's define the color. For the color, we are going to use colors dot. Let's give a white color for now. So let's add constant modifier to remove yellow warnings, and now let's call this build page indicator inside our column widget. Now if we reload our project, wait for a moment, you can see that there are page indicators. We have 4 page indicators because we are defining 4 page view builder also. So now what we can do is we can add some sized box with a height of 80 pixels after the headline of our vegetable. So now as you can see that they are properly aligned at the bottom of the screen. So what we want to do is we want to make all the other page indicators grayish, and only the one that we are on the current page we want to make it white. So for this purpose, we will define a variable with the name of current page of integer type, and we will set the value equal to 0. So what we will do is now in the page view builder there is a method with the name of on page changed. What we can do is inside the on page changed, we will use set state to change the current page. Set state, we can use set state inside the stateful widgets to change the state of the variable. Before that, we have to pass the page number int page, and after that we will use set state, and inside set state we will set the current page equal to the page that is coming from the page indicator or the page view builder. So here inside our build page indicator method, what we will do is we will check if the current page is equal to the index that is coming from this list dot generate that we are doing above. If the both of them are equal, then we will set the color equal to white. If it is not the same, then we will set the color equal to colors dot gray with a shade of 600. Now to remove these errors, because we are using variables, we have to remove this constant. And now if we reload our project, as you can see that the first page indicator is white, and all the others are grayish. Now if we move into the next screen, you can see that the white indicator is changing, because we are making sure, we have made sure in the page indicator on page changed, so that the pages are being changed and the indicator is moved. As you can see that our page indicator is working fine. So what we want to do is at the end of our page builder, we need to add get started button, so that the user can know that he is at the end of the page builder or the onboarding screens, and now he has to move towards our landing screen of the application. So what we can do is we can here add a get start button. So how can we know that we are at the end of the screen and we need to show the on start button? So for this purpose, what we will do is we will check if the current page is equal to 3. So now, as you know that the index start from 0 up to we are using 4 page views. It will be 0, 1, 2 and 3. There are 4. So we will check if the current page is equal to 3, then we will show a widget with the name of start button. We will create it later, and if it is not equal to 3, we will show a simple container. It will show nothing. Same goes for the size box height, because if we are using a button, we have to provide some height between the button and the page indicators. So what we can do is we can check if the current page is equal to 3, we will use a size box of 20, else we will show a simple container. So now let's create a new Dart file with the name of start button. Let's create a new Dart file with the name of start underscore button underscore widget. So now we are in the start button widget. We will use a stateful widget for now, and we will name it equal to start button. So now let's import the material library so that the errors are gone, and let's convert the stateful widget to stateless widget, because we are not working with the states here. So on the onboarding screens, let's import the start button widget so that the errors are gone. So now that the errors are gone, we can simply move. We have to restart the application to see the changes that we have made for the start button. So now we have restarted our application. So let's move to the last screen. As you can see, there is a render flex overflowed because we haven't removed the placeholder from the start button here. So now, as we know that our start button widget is working, so what we can do is we can simply replace the placeholder with the size box of width 180. So now we reload our project, you can see that nothing to show here because we haven't provided any height to it. What we will do is we will provide a child widget to size box, and we will use an elevated button inside this. For the elevated button, there are two properties, on pressed and a child property. Inside the on press property, we will define what we want to happen if the user presses this button, and inside child property we will define what we want to show on the button. So what we will do is we will use a row widget here because we want to show a text and also an icon, get started, and a icon at the end. So what we will do is we will set the main axis alignment to main axis alignment dot center of the row, and after that we will use children, and the children accepts an array of widgets inside a row. So what we can do is we can use a simple text widget, and we will pass a text of get started. Now we reload our project, you can see that there is a beautiful button above the page indicators. Let's give some styling to our text widget. For this we will use text style, and inside text style we will give it a font size of 16, and let's change the font weight of the text to the bold. Let's make it bold. So for now we will add the color. For now we change it to colors dot white. So now if we change the color to colors dot white, you can see that the text on the button and the background of the button are same. So how can we change the styling of the elevated button? For this we have to use a parameter named style, and it will take a button style in which we can change the background color, the shape of the button, or the radius of the button. So for this what we will do is, for background color we have to call a property with the name of material state property, and we will choose its method dot all, and we have to define the type. We are going to change the color, and we will provide the color, and we will provide a color colors dot gray. As you can see that the color of the button is changed and the text has appeared on it. So now what we will do is we will give some padding to the button. So for this purpose we will use a material state property again with the dot all, and after that we have to define the type. That type is edge insets, and after that edge insets geometry, and inside material state property dot all, we have to define that how much we want to add the padding. For this purpose we will use edge insets dot symmetric. Inside symmetric we can use two parameters, horizontal and vertical. For the horizontal we will give 16 pixels and for the vertical we will give 10 pixels. Let's add constant to remove the warnings. And now we reload our project, you can see that there is a slight increase in the width and the height of the button. So what we will do is we will give a shape to our button style. For this we have to again call the material state property dot all. We have to define the type. We are going to use rounded rectangle borders. So inside rounded rectangle borders, what we will do is we will change the border radius. We will set the border radius because we do not want exactly it to be rectangular. We want it to be the slightly curved buttons. So for this purpose we will use border radius dot circular and give it a 25 pixels. So now if we reload our project, you can see that there is not much changed there. After that what we will do is we will use side property of rounded rectangle border because we are going to give color to the border of our button. For this purpose we will use colors dot white. And now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a white border at the edges of our button. So what we will do is in the row widget we have to add an icon at the end. And before that let's do the indentation of our code so it is more easily readable. So now let's add an icon. For the icon we will use icons dot chevron underscore right. So let's reload our project. You can see that there is an icon but its color is black, so we can change the color to colors dot white and we can also increase the size to 24 pixels. And now if we reload our project, you can see that our start button is complete and we can move to the next step. As you know, beforehand we have created our screens, a vegetable listing screen, because we are going to move to this screen. So on pressed button, what we will do is we will use a navigator. Navigator is used to push the screens on one another. For this purpose we will use navigator dot push, and inside this we have to pass the context of the widget and also the material page root. And for the material page root we are going to provide the name of our widget on which we are going to move, that is vegetables listing screen. Let's add commas and add constant modifier to remove the warnings. And now if we reload our project, let's make sure to reload the project or restart our project so that it can properly take effect. So our application is start. As you can see that the page view builder is working properly, and we are at the end of our page view builder. You can see a get started button. As you can see there is a get started button at the end of the page view builder, and if we click on it you can see that we are moved towards the vegetable listing screen. We have only pushed the screen, so we push the screen on our previous onboarding screen, so it is in the stack. We can move forward and backwards. So inside our vegetables listing screen we are going to use a list view because we are going to list all the vegetables that are present in our data.dart file. So for this purpose we have to use the list view widgets. List view widget needs an array of children. So what we can do is we can simply call the vegetables array from our data.dart file that we have defined beforehand, and we can map it. We can map every element equal to some widget. What we will do is what it does is we call the vegetables dot map function, and inside the map function it returns I have named E for now, but we will change it to vegetables, and we will simply against that object or element we can return a widget. For now I am using a padding, and for the padding I am giving it edge insets dot all 4.0 to show on the screen. And after that padding, what we can do is we can give some child property to it, and for now I am going to use a container so that just show you how it works. For now we will give it a color, colors dot red. Let's remove this constant to remove errors. And now for the container we will add some width and height so that it is shown on the screen. As you can see it is not showing because we haven't defined the height of our container. So what we can do is for container, let's give a width of 20 pixels and let's give a height of 20 pixels. And now if we reload our project, you can see that there are a number of which containers shown on the screen equal to the elements in our vegetable array. So we know that it's working. So what we can do is we can remove this container and we can actually code the widget that we want here. What we want here, we want to create a vegetable tile widget. So I haven't defined the vegetable tile widget beforehand, that's why it's showing error. So let's move to our project panel, and inside our widgets directory, let's create a new dart file with the name of vegetable underscore tile underscore widget. So now what we are going to do is we will define a stateless widget with the name of vegetable tile widget, and we are going to import material library to remove the errors. And let's remove this placeholder, and in the place of placeholder we will define a container. Now let's move backward and import vegetable tile widget here to remove the errors. And now if we reload our project, you can see that our project is working fine. Let's close this project directory to make the code more clear. So now what we need here is we need to have a vegetable parameter here that we can use to call all the required data that is inside the data.dart file. So now what we can do is inside container, let's remove the container and let's use row, because we are going to align widgets in a row format. First of all, in row, what we are going to use is we are going to use a container with the width of 80 pixels and we will give it a height of 80 pixels. And for the alignment, we will set the alignment equal to alignment dot center, because inside this we are going to show the image of our vegetable. So inside the decoration, we are going to use box decoration, and for the box decoration we will give it a radius. For the radius we will use border radius property, and here we will give border radius dot circular equal to 8 pixels. And after that we will define the box shadow parameter. For this we have to pass an array, and inside the array we have to initialize the box shadow. For this purpose, what we will do is we will define the color, and we will define the color dot from RGBO, in which RGB represents the color and O represents the opacity. For RGB we will give 0, and for the opacity we will set it equal to 0.3. The 0 colors are equal to black. The RGB, if we define the values equal to 0, it is black, and for the black color we are giving an opacity of 0.3. For the blur radius we are giving a value of 3, and for the offset, and inside offset there are two offset x-axis and y-axis. For both of them we are going to give 2 pixels. And after that we are going to give a gradient to our container, and for the gradient we are going to use linear gradient. And for the colors, what we are going to do here is we are going to call the parameter, the variable that we have defined above in the vegetable tile widget. So we will call the variable vegetable, and we will call the property dot gradient colors from our data.dart file. So now we have given the gradient. What we want to do is we also want to give a child to this container. For the child we are going to use image.asset, and inside image.asset I am going to use assets directory, and inside assets directory we are going to use a string interpolation, and I am going to call a vegetable dot image here, the name from the data.dart file, and I have added the extension at the end .png. Now if we reload our project, you can see that there is an error inside our vegetable listing screen. We haven't provided the required parameter. So for the vegetables, let's replace this E with a vegetable, and now let's call this inside the vegetable tile widget. So now we have to remove this constant widget to remove the warning, and let's add constant to the padding. So now if we reload our project, you can see that instead the red containers, you can see they are containers with images and box shadow to it. You can see that all the images, all the vegetables present in our vegetable array inside a data.dart file as listed above. So now what we can do is let's move back to our vegetable tile widget and complete the required user interface. So what we will do is for the gradient we have to add the begin and end alignment, because for now it is from left to right. What we want to do is we want to set the beginning from alignment dot top center, and we want to set the end to alignment dot bottom center. So now if we reload our project, you can see that the colors alignment is changed now. So we are done with this. So now what we want to do is, after that we want to define the title, the subtitle of the vegetable. So for this purpose we are going to align these both text widget inside a column. So what we can do is we can give a size box with a width of 10, and after that we will use an expanded widget with a child of column, and inside column we will use a children widget. Before that we will set the main axis alignment property to main axis alignment dot center, and the cross axis alignment property to cross axis alignment dot start, so that the both the text widgets the text start from the leftmost corner. So inside the children array, let's define a text widget. For the text we are going to use a vegetable dot title, and now if we reload our project, let's reload the project, you can see that the vegetable names are shown on the right side of the images. So what we will do is we will give some styling to this text. For this purpose we will use text style, and inside text style we will give a font size of 18 pixels, and for the font weight we are going to set the font weight dot bold. So we want to make our text a little bit bold. So now if we reload our project, you can see that the vegetable names are in bold and the font size is increased. So what we can do is we can simply copy this text and again paste it down below. So for now what we can change is we can change the vegetable dot title to subtitle to show the tagline, and for the font size we can decrease it to 14.0, and we will remove the font weight because we want it to normal font, and for the color we will give it a colors dot gray. So now if we reload our project, you can see that after the vegetable name there is a beautiful grayish subtitles that is showing some taglines for our vegetables. So now what we can do is in the vegetable listing screen, you can see that the vegetable tile widgets are at the leftmost of the screens. We can give some spacing, and before that we can also add a scaffold at the top, so that we can give an app bar to it. The scaffold property contains a lot of different widgets or the parameters that you can use. We are going to use an app bar, and for this we will give a app bar with the name of vegetables. So now let's give some padding to our vegetable tile widget. So let's wrap our list view inside a padding widget, and for this we will set edge insets dot symmetric, and for the horizontal we will give 4 pixels. Now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a little spacing around our tile widgets. So let's restart our application to check the whole progress that we have made. So from the onboarding screens, let's press on get started, and as you can see that there is a beautiful app bar at the top, and we have given a title vegetables. So what we want to do is when we press on any vegetables in the listing, we want it to move towards the vegetable details screen. So for this purpose what we can do is we can wrap our vegetable tile widget inside a gesture detector. Gesture detector give us different methods like on tap, on long tap. We were going to use on tap in this scenario, and we will use navigator dot push similarly that we have used on our start button. We are going to pass the context, we are also going to pass the material page route, and inside the material page route we have to define the widget on which we are going to move. So in our scenario it is vegetable details screen. Let's add commas and add constant to remove the warnings. And now if we reload our project and click on any item from the vegetable listing, you can see that we have moved toward the vegetable details screen. So now as you can see our vegetable listing screen is finalized, and we are going to make changes to our vegetable details screen. So first of all let's remove this center widget, and after the scaffold inside body we are going to use column widget. First of all, in the column widget what we will do is we will use a container here because we want to show the image and the background color of our gradient at the top of our vegetable details screen. So now what we will do is inside container for the child purpose. Before that, how can we get the data from our previous screen? What we will do is we will define a variable with a name of with a type of vegetable, and we will make it required inside the constructor of vegetable detail screen. So whenever we move to this screen, we have the data with us. Whenever the vegetable detail screen is called from any other place, we will provide the vegetable data. So now what we will do is inside the container we will add the decoration. For the box decoration we will use gradient. So as you can see, there is an error. We have to add the vegetable to our vegetable details screen. So let's call the parameter here vegetable, and let's add the vegetable that we are getting from our list view. So now if we restart application, you can see that it is showing null because we haven't provided the data to our vegetable detail screen. For this purpose we have to restart our application so that it is in a flow. And now if we select any vegetable from our list view, you can see that we have moved towards the vegetable detail screen, but it's empty because we haven't shown anything. So for now, for the linear gradient, what we will do is we will set the beginning and the end equal to alignment dot top center and alignment dot bottom center respectively. So now we are done with the gradient of our vegetable. After that, what we will do is we will add a child to our container, and for the child we are going to use a column, and inside column, as we know that we have to provide the children array. First of all, we will use image.asset, and inside this we will pass the path of our image and also the extension of our image, that is .png. Now if we reload our project, you can see that the image and the background gradient is showing, but it is under the notch of our font. So for this purpose what we can do is first of all, let's give padding 30 from the sides, and we can also add a size box at the top of our padding widget to give some spacing from the top. So in this scenario I will use a height of 35 pixels. Let's add constant and reload our project. You can see that now the image is right in the center and it looks perfect now. So after that what we want to do is let's move back and change. You can see that the vegetables are changing, the images and the gradient colors, both of them are changing. So now what we will do is let's wrap this widget, and after that we will add the title to this vegetable. So let's add a text widget, and inside text widget we will call the vegetable variable that we have defined above, and we will use vegetable.title. And if we reload our project, you can see that the vegetable name is showing right in the center of our column. So what we can do is we can set the cross axis alignment of our column to cross axis alignment dot start. As you can see, it is in the start of the screen. What we will do is we can wrap our text widget inside a padding widget, and for this edge insets dot all we can change it to symmetric. So now for vertical we will give 20 pixels, and for horizontal we will give 15 pixels. Let's give 15, and now if we reload our project, you can see that the vegetable name is from, there are some spacing from the sides. So now for the styling of our vegetable title, what we can do is we can use text style, and the font size we will increase it to 32.0, and for the font weight we will use font weight dot bold. And if we reload a project, before reloading let's change the color. For now what we will do is we will use a vegetable variable that we have defined above, and for the gradient colors we are going to use a first value, the second value 01, the dark one. As you can see that the bell peppers are in a dark color of the gradient portion. So now we are going to define the headline here. For this purpose we have copied the same text above and we have placed it down below. Let's give some spacing at the top between the title and the headline. For this purpose we will use a size box with a height of 10 pixels. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the headline font is 36 also. Let's decrease the font to 14 and set it equal to normal, and let's keep the font color that is by default black. If we now reload our project, you can see that the vegetable dot headline is showing perfectly, but there is a lot of space between bell peppers and the description. So what we can do is, firstly let's align the text to text.justify, so it covers the whole space and it does not give spaces between the lines. And now let's decrease the vertical alignment to 10. And now if we reload our project, you can see that there is still so much space. So what we can do is, let's remove the vertical alignment from here. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the space has been decreased and it looks more good now. So moving on to the next part, what we want to do here is, we want to show an expansion tile that whenever the user clicks on it, it increases in size, and whenever the user again presses on it, it decreases. So before doing that, let's complete the remaining description of our vegetable. For this purpose, what we will do is, we can simply copy the code from above. Let's give some size box with a height of 30 pixels beforehand, at the bottom of the expansion tile, also at the top of the expansion tile. After that, we are going to use text widget. Let's copy from above that we have used, and let's paste it down below. So now all the things remains the same. We are only going to change the headline to description. So now let's add dot trim if there are an extra spaces in our data. Let's change the font size to 12. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the description of our vegetable is also showing on the screen. So now if we go back and select any other vegetable, you can see the name, the description, the headlines are changing. Let's move down and let's select zucchini vegetable. As you can see that all the information for all the vegetables are dynamically changing. So now what we will do is, in the expansion tile, we are going to use vegetable details tile, and we are going to define this in our widgets directory. Let's go to our widget directory, and inside our widget directory, let's create a new dart file with the name of vegetables underscore details underscore tile. Let's create a stateless widget here with the name of vegetables details tile. So to remove the errors, we have to import material library, and instead of placeholder, we are going to use a container here. So to use container, we have to remove this constant modifier, and inside vegetable details tile, we have to import this in vegetable details screen. So now let's define a variable as we have done before with the type of vegetable with the name of vegetable, and in the vegetable details tile we will call this in the constructor, we will call this and make it required. So now moving back to our vegetables details screen, let's pass the vegetable here that we are working with. So now we are done with this, and we have removed the error. So now let's focus on our vegetable details tile. It's a bit tricky now. In our vegetable details style, we have to define array of strings, the keys for our nutritional value array that we have defined in our data.dart file. So for this purpose, we will create a list of string with the name of nutrients, and inside this array we have to pass the keys to our nutritional array values inside of data.dart, which is energy, sugar, fat, protein and vitamins. And for now let's remove the container, and in the place of container we can return a card. Let's give it an elevation of 5.0. for the margin, let's set equal to edge insets.0, and for the child of the card, let's use expansion tile, that is the already defined widgets in our Flutter. So in the expansion tile, what we are going to do is, we are going to define the title. For the title we are going to use text widget, and inside text widget we will define nutritional value per 100 gram. Let's give some styling to this. For the styling purpose, we are going to use text style, and inside text style we have to provide the font size that we are going to set equal to 13.0. Let's add constant to remove the yellow warnings. And now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a beautiful tile that is present in the center, but it is not expanding because it haven't any data inside it. So what we can do is, let's go back to our vegetable detail screen, and let's add padding to our vegetable detail style. we will add symmetric agent sets dot symmetric and give horizontal 15 pixels. Now we reload our project. You can see that now our expansion tile is right in the center and it looks more beautiful now. Let's go back to our expansion tile. So what we want here is inside our expansion tile we have defined the title, and after the title we have a parameter of children which required an array of widgets. In our scenario we have done in our past screens, we can simply map our nutrients that are energy, sugar, fat we have defined above, and against every one value we are going to define a column, and inside the column we will define different data, and at the end we have to add dot to list so that the nutrients are converted into widgets which are a list that is provided to children parameter. So inside the column what we will do is we will use children widget, and for the children widgets firstly we will add some divider inside this to divide them. Divider is basically a defined widget in Flutter that gives us a flat line that we can set the height equal to 2.0, and for the color we can set it equal to colors.gray. If we now extend our expansion tile, you can see that there are different borders according to the values of the nutrients that are present above that we have defined the array of nutrients. And after that what we can do is we can use a list tile. And inside list tile what we can do is we can use a leading parameter, and for the leading parameter we can use an icon, and we can set the icon equal to icons dot info underscore outline, and for the color we can set the color equal to vegetable dot gradient colors, and for this we will pass value of 1. Let's remove this constant to get rid of error. So now if we reload our project, let's reload our project and now expand our nutritional value, you can see that there is a render flex error. How can we resolve this? We can simply wrap our column inside the vegetable detail screen inside a single child scroll view. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the error is gone and it is scrolling easily. So now you can see that our icon of info underscore outline is showing. After this what we will do is we will add title, and for the title we are simply going to use the nutrient that are coming from our nutrients array that we have defined above. To give the styling we have to use text style, and for the text style we will set the font weight equal to font weight dot w500 to make it less bold but more than normal. And for the color we will set the color equal to same vegetable dot gradient colors with the index 1. So now if we reload our project, you can see that the nutrients the keys are shown, but for the values we have to map them to the values in our data.dart file. For this purpose in the list style we are going to use trailing property, and inside the trailing we are using a text widget. For now it's a bit tricky here. We will use a vegetable dot nutrition that we have defined in our data.dart file. From there we are going to pass an index that is of the nutrients array that we have defined in our vegetable detail style, where you are going to use the nutrients dot index of nutrient that is we have defined above. So that's how we are getting index from here, and we are going to call the nutrition values that are present inside our data.dart file. So now if we reload our project, you can see that the values are aligned to the keys that we have defined above inside our nutrition array. So now our project is complete. Let's add some size box to the end of our description, vegetable description, so that whenever the user is at the end of the screen there is still space at the bottom. As you can see that now we have resolved that situation. So we have, for now we have completed our project. Let's restart our application and let's go from our onboarding screen. As you can see that on the onboarding screen the text isn't look more attractive. What we can do is we can also add shadows to the text. So as you remember in our listing vegetable listing screen, we have added box shadow to our images container. What we can do is we can simply copy this code from here And in our onboarding screen, let's go to our title, vegetable name, where we have defined that. Let's go here and let's give a shadows, and inside shadows let's paste the code. We are not going to use box shadows. Let's remove the box shadow, but all the other code remains the same. Let's remove the constant that is not required, and let's remove the comma. And if we set the indentation of our code, and now if we reload our project, you can see that there is a beautiful shadow to our text which looks more attractive now. So now we have completed our application. The onboarding screens are working fine. After that, we have our vegetable listing screen. As you can see, whenever we click on an image or a vegetable, we move towards the vegetable details screen. One more thing what we can do is, on the onboarding screen, we are only using navigator.push. Push, what it do is, it stack all the widgets upon one another. The user can move backwards and forward. So in our onboarding screen, we can replace the push with a push replacement, so that this back button is gone. So now if we restart our application, let's restart the application. Now let's go towards the get started button. As the user now press on it, there is no back button, or the user cannot move back from the system buttons also. That's why we can use navigator.push replacement, which is very much helpful. Video we will talk about Flutter animations and eye-catching UI without using any packages or dependencies. We will work with basic widgets that are available. Also, we will learn how to use buttons, asset images, beautiful and simple animations, text styles, shadows, and much more. Further, we will learn how to create functions and how can we implement them. So without any further delays, let's jump into Android Studio. Let's assume that you know how to create a Flutter project. So I have already created my Flutter project named Discover Animals. I have included some necessary files that we will use in this project. These include assets. In assets folder we have images, different images of animals that we will use in our project. Also in lib directory, I have created a directory named utilities, and inside this there is a dart file named app colors, which includes all the colors that we will use majorly in our app. After that, let's see what is in the main.dart file when we create a new project in Flutter. So it includes a random code, and if we run this application, we will see a simple text in the middle of the screen and a floating action button that we can press and it will increment the values. We don't need this code. We will remove all the unnecessary code from this file. We will remove my home page because we are not going to use it. We will create our own widget called card view. Let's just put it there. We will create it later. Let's remove the title and name it Flutter Animation Tutorial. So let's create a new directory inside lib. We will name this directory as components. Inside components directory, we will create a new dart file that will be named as card view. Inside that card view, we will design a card that we are going to show on the main screen. So let's just create a stateful widget here. We will name this widget as card view as we have named it before. Just import material.dart so that all the error will be removed. Now we will remove the placeholder and place a scaffold there. We will give a background color to it. Let's give it a custom light gray color. As you can see, we have yellow lines. If we have to put constant before scaffold. Now we have to import card view. The error is gone. In pubspec YAML, we have to import assets that we have included in our main directory. Let's uncomment these lines. Remove hash before assets, and also let's uncomment this. Give it a space. Indentation is very important in pubspec YAML file. Let's replace its assets and give it a / and remove the remaining data. We can name different images like image1.png, but if we put a / it will consider all the images that are present in asset folder. Let's run our project. It will run in a moment. takes some time while building the project first time, so we have to wait, and there it is. We have our project. It's a simple background, custom color gray, light gray, and we have a debug banner as you can see at the top of the screen. We can remove this debug banner, debug show check mode banner. We have to set it to false, and there you can see the banner is removed. So in the upcoming videos we will create this beautiful and simple UI. First let's create the background card with linear gradient, and we will give it some shadow so it looks more elegant. So we cleaned our code in the last video. Now we will focus on the components that we will draw. So we have a scaffold to which we have given custom light gray color. We will use body to display the main or primary content in the scaffold. It is below the app bar. So in our case we do not need any app bar. We will work with the body. So in body we will pass a size box with a width of 330, and we will give it a height of, let's say, 570. So we have drawn the size box that we need. The exact height and width we have mentioned above. So every widget in Flutter has a child. In this case we will use a container because we want to give a circular radius and also give a linear gradient. Okay, so we have to remove the constant from the scaffold because we are going to use container. For we will now give it a decoration, box decoration. In box decoration there are several things. We can give it a gradient, we give it a border, we give it a border radius. In our case we will use border radius because we want to give a circular feel to our card on the edges. So we will give it border radius dot circular of 40. It will make our card circular on the edges. To the next step we will use gradient to give different colors. We can give different types of gradient, but we will use linear gradient. In colors we have to pass set of colors that we want to use. We can use a single color, but it doesn't make any effect if we use a single color. So in gradients we have to use more than single color so it can appear on the screen. In our case we will use three different colors. We will use custom dark blue, we will use custom blue light, and we will use custom medium blue color. So it looks more elegant, and we can see a more progressive transition between two or more colors along a straight line. So I mentioned the colors, and if we reload our project we can see that the card is in the top left corner of our mobile screen. So we will wrap our size box in a center widget so it will align our card in the center of our screen. So what do we need now is we do not want our gradient colors from left to right. What we want is we want it from top to bottom. So the colors are aligned from top, then center, and then bottom. So there are two parameters that we can use in gradient that are begin and end. So in begin we will use alignment dot top center, so the colors will start from the center of the card at the top, and in the end we will give it alignment dot bottom center, so it finishes at the bottom and in the center of the card. So if we refresh the screen we can see that now our colors are aligned from top to bottom, which looks more beautiful than it looked from left to right. So what we need now is we need to add a shadow to our card. So for that purpose we have to wrap our code inside a stack. We will wrap it inside a column and then rename it to stack so that our container is inside the children widget. It's an easy way to do it. We can do it step by step, or we can do it like that. So we have to use another container. In this we will use decoration and give it a box decoration just like the same previous container that we designed. We will give it a border radius dot circular, and we will give it a 40 because we want it like the same as we have our previous card. So now we will give it a gradient. We will use this time we will use only two colors in the gradient. We will use the linear gradient, and we will provide the colors as we previously know that we need an array for gradient colors because we are using more than one color. So we are using custom blue light and custom medium blue. Let's say yes, we will use custom medium blue. So as we have used linear gradient before, so we know that we have to align colors, that we have to define the beginning and the end point. So in this case, by default it defines from left to right, but we will define the beginning from, as in our previous container, from top center. Beginning will be alignment dot top center, and for the bottom it will be same as before. We will use alignment. Now we will use alignment, alignment dot bottom center. So what do we need now? We need to give a shadow to our card. For that purpose we can use an argument of the decoration that we are using, box decoration, box shadow. In box shadow it requires an array in which we have to provide the box shadow. Box shadow includes color. We will give it a color of custom dark blue, and we can set the offset of the shadow. We will use offset. So offset requires two inputs. We will give it x-axis 0, and for y-axis we will give it a 12. So after reloading we can see on the screen that there is a beautiful shadow underneath our card. I don't think we need this linear gradient. Let's remove it and reload the project. Yes, we do not need this linear gradient, only box shadow will work. So let's give another shadow to the bottom of our card. For that purpose we will again pass box shadow. For this time we will use color custom blue light with opacity of 0.85. As far as the offset goes, for offset this time we will give it x-axis 0, and for y-axis we will give it a 3. As you can see there is a error. For this we have to remove this constant at the top and then add constant at the remaining yellow warnings. If we reload our project, you can see there is a beautiful small line of custom blue light color that we can see at the bottom of the card. So this is our main card view file. There's going to be a lot of code in here, so let's refactor this code and extract some widgets out of this file. After when our project is completed, it's easy for us to read. So we will name this new widget card view shadow. By default it will show this widget at the bottom of our file, but we will cut it from here, and in the components we will make another file, another dart file, and give it a name of card view shadow and place that code inside this file. Now we to remove these errors we have to import the material library. By importing the material library most of the errors will be resolved, but for this colors we have to import app utils files. Now all the errors are removed. Let's go to the card view file and import the card view shadow. Let's add the constant to remove this warning, and if we reload our project you can see that the reload is complete and the screen looks exactly the same. So our code is working. So we are done with our card view background and it looks fantastic. So let's move to other items that are on our card. First we will code this text view at the top, and step by step we will go through all the components. So we are going to draw all the elements in a vertical view on our card. So for that purpose we will use column, and inside column we will pass children, and inside children we will use text widget, and inside text widget we will pass animal as a dummy text. And if we reload our code, you can see that we can see animal, but at the left top left corner of our card and out of the card view, and it also looks very small. So first design, we will style this text, and after that we will bother about the positioning. So first of all let's add style to this text. Inside style we have to pass text style, and here we can define font weight. For font weight we are going to use it bold, and if we reload our code and if we do the indentation right, then we can see that our animal text is bold now. Now further we can increase the size of this text. For font size, let's say we will use 52 font, and if we reload you can see that it's almost exactly at the position where we want it, but it is in a black color. So let's change the color and we will give it a custom color white, and if we reload our project you can see that the text color has been changed, but the positioning of the text is not right. To resolve this issue, we can use padding. In this case, we can wrap our text inside padding only and make it work, but we have to do it for all the components inside the column separately. To save our time and make our code more reliable, we will wrap our column inside padding. By default, in padding, the padding is given from all side of 8 pixels, but in our case, we will use symmetric padding. In symmetric, we have two options: horizontal, we will give it a 25, and for vertical, we will give it a 5. To remove these yellow warnings, let's add constant at the start of our padding widget. So if we reload our project, you can see that the text is now perfectly aligned where we want our text. So let's move on to the next components that we want to design. So under the title text, there is a subtitle text. For this purpose, we will use another text widget. I have already copied the line and mentioned some text, something about animals. For text style, we will give this font style of italic, so it looks more elegant. Let's change the color of this text now. For color, we will again use custom color white, and if we reload our project, then you can see that now our text is in white. As you can see that our description text is not in alignment with our title text. To resolve this issue, we can give it a text alignment. If we set our text alignment to the left and reload our code, the text should change, but it does not change. For this, we can use cross-axis alignment of our column and set it to start. And if we reload our project again, we can see that our description text is now perfectly aligned under our title text. So moving on to the next component, there is a circle in the center of our card. We will focus on the animations later. Let's draw the basic image first. For this purpose, we will use image.asset widget in Flutter. Inside this, we will provide the path of our image. We have all the images in our assets directory. We will give the image name. When we use an asset image, we can't use constant because we were using constant at the top of our widget tree. So if we reload our project, yes, you can see that there is a image of a baby elephant in the center of our screen. So now we will comment this image.asset line because our main focus is to code a container in the center of this card view. For this purpose, we will use container and give it a width of 300 and a height of 300. And we will use decoration, and inside box decoration, the shape of the container, we want it box shape. We want it box shape dot circle. And if we reload our project, firstly we have to remove this error because we are using container and at the start of a widget tree we have constant. To remove these warnings, we have to add constant at the start of the yellow lines. And now if we reload our project, you can see that there is nothing to show. So let's give it a color. We will give it a custom color white. And now if we reload our project again, there you can see there is a circle right in the center of our card view. So first of all we need is to remove this color, and after that we have to give gradient to this container. For gradient, we will use linear gradient as we have done before. We have to pass array of colors which we want. For this purpose, we will be using colors.blue with shade of 500. After null safety update in Flutter, we have to add exclamation mark at the end of color value whenever we are using shade value. And as far as the second color goes, we will be using colors.purple with the shade value of 300. Now we have to remove this constant from box decoration to get rid of this error. Now if we have organized our code and reload our project, you can see that the colors are perfectly aligned inside the circle. Now what we need is to add image in front of this circle. For that purpose, we will wrap this container inside column and rename it to stack. As we want to fill the whole space in the stack, we will use the widget position.fill. And inside position.fill child widget, we will pass the same image asset widget with the same path of our asset image. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the picture is perfectly aligned inside the circle. So image is perfectly aligned inside the circle, but the circle is not in the center of our card. To resolve this, we can wrap our text widget inside a padding widget, and we will give it a padding only to the bottom of 32 pixels. Now if we reload our project, you can see that the circle is right in the center of the card. Inside this container we are going to animate the color, so there will be a lot of code. So to make our code more readable, we can extract this Flutter widget, and we will give it a name of custom circle view. Now if by refactoring this code we make it easy for us, so that after we want to make any changes, we can easily open the file and we can replace the code. For this purpose, in the components directory we will create a new dart file with the name of custom circle view, and inside this file we will place that code. And to get rid of these errors, we have to import material library. So all the errors are gone in this file. So let's get back to card view file and import custom circle view here. Let's add constant in the start to remove these warnings. So now let's move to custom circle view file. So first of all, we have to convert this stateless widget into stateful widget, because we are going to change state when we are animating our colors. We have to extend our state class with single ticker provider state mixin. Even we are not animating the colors, we are only using the duration. We have to add this ticker provider. Now we are going to define the variables. First we will define animation controller, and we are not going to initialize this now. So for that purpose we are going to use late in the start of our variable declaration. And second variable will be a boolean with the name of underscore is animated gradient, and we will set it to false. Now we have to override our init state function. Basically init state function, what it does is, whenever this widget will be called, the code inside the init state widget will run first. And now inside the init state we have to override the super.init state function, and after that we will initialize our animation controller. And inside animation controller vsync we are going to pass this that represents this state class ticker provider, through which we extended our class at the top. Now after that we are going to pass the duration. After the duration here represents that after how much time we want to animate. So here we will pass a duration of 1 second. That means we want to animate our colors after every 1 second. And now we will add a listener. By adding listener after every 1 second, we can trigger our animation controller and do some functionality with it. So for that purpose we have to use set state. Set state is basically used when we want to change the state of some variable or a widget. So in our case what we are going to do is we are going to use the animation controller dot value and check if the value is less than 0.5. If the value is less than 0.5, then automatically for the variable is animated gradient, the true value will be declared. And now what we want to do is we want to repeat this step after every 1 second. So for that purpose we are going to use animation controller dot repeat, and inside repeat we are going to use reverse and set it to true. So now we have initialized our animation controller, but what if we change our screen, or if we change a widget? For that purpose we are going to override another method with the name of dispose, and inside dispose we will call the super dot dispose first, and after that we will do the animation controller dot dispose, which will delete our animation controller. We will make the container to animate just like in the sample video. The colors inside the container is animating after a few seconds, and after that we will put the image in front of the circle, and then we will move towards the bubbles that are animating. So without any further delay, what we want here, we want to replace that code, and in child we will pass animated builder. Animated builder takes two properties. First one is the animation that represents the controller, and we will put our controller animation controller. And second one is the builder, which also takes two properties. First one will be the context that will be of our widget, and second one is the child. And let's put a comma at the end of our curly braces and indent our code. Now in the curly braces we will return a decoration box. Inside decoration box, we will provide the box decoration. This one is the same as for a simple container. Inside this we can provide the gradient or the shape of the container. First of all, we will give it a shape. We will give it a shape box shape dot circle. So this will give a container a circled shape. Because we have removed our previous code, in order to check that our code is working, let's give a custom color white. And now if we reload our project, you can see that the gradient is removed and the white color is given to the container. So let's give it a gradient now. For linear gradient, we will provide a list of colors as we have done in our previous steps. For this purpose, we will use colors.blue and give it a shade of 500. And as far as the second color goes, we will use colors.purple with a shade of 300. And we will put exclamation mark at the end of the shade value. I have explained this in the previous video. You can go and check this, why are we using exclamation mark. And now after providing the colors, let's reload our project. As you can see that the gradient is working fine, but what we want to do is we want to animate these colors. So for that purpose, we will use begin, and inside begin we will use our variable that we have defined before is animated gradient. And if the is animated gradient is true, we want to align our color at the top left, and if it is false, we want it to align at the bottom left. Alignment dot bottom left. Now same goes for the end of the colors. For end, we will check if the is animated gradient is true, then we set it as the bottom alignment dot bottom right. And if the animated gradient is false, then we will set it equal to alignment dot top right. Now after setting the alignment dot top right, and if we rearrange our code and then if we reload our project, you can see that the colors are animating after every 1 second. But we have provided only 2 colors for linear gradient, so it doesn't look much beautiful. To make it more aesthetic, we can give it a third color with colors dot white. And now look, after the reload, the gradient is looking more elegant. So after that, now we will start working on bubbles, the bubbles that are animating on the screen. For this purpose, let's comment our code for the image that we are showing on the container, so we can easily see the changes while we are coding. What we want to achieve is we want to show bubbles throughout the container that will move forward and backward. So for that purpose, let's take a look on the sample video. Like in this video, as you can see that the bubbles are moving from one side to another side and repeating their formation. So what we want to do is first of all, we would wrap our animation builder inside a stack. For that we can take the easy approach and first wrap into a column and then rename our column into a stack. So now we have to wrap the animation builder inside a position dot fill, so it covers the whole space inside our size box. Now as you can see, after reloading, our code is working fine. After that, let's put a comment here. Here we will show the bubbles view. So for a bubbles view file, there will be a lot of code. So let's create a new file inside the components. Here in the components, let's create a new Dart file with the name of bubble view animation. So inside this file, we will use stateful widget. For this we can, if we type stf, it will give us a option to create the stateful widget, and we will name it as a bubble view animation. To remove the errors, we will import material library. And now as we did in the custom circle view, we extended the class with a single ticker provider state mixer. We will do the same in this case. We will extend our class with ticker provider state mixin. So now let's create the methods first we are going to use. First of all, we want to get the random number of circles on the screen when we are trying to animate them. For that purpose we will use random library that is a part of Dart math library. Now if we use its method dot next int and provide a digit inside it, for example if we provide a 7, then it will return a integer between 0 to 6. So the number of circles on the screen will be between 0 to 6, and after that we will initialize a boolean with the name of is animating, and we will set it to false. And now we will create a method in which we will define the coordinates of the bubbles that are moving on the screen. For this purpose we will use a return type double, and we will name our function random coordinate. Let's remove it and set our spelling. We will use random coordinate, and we will use a double value of a container size as our parameter, double container size, and we will return a double value. For this we will use a random dot next double. We are not going to use integer in case because we are returning a double value, so let's replace it with next double, and we will multiply it with the container size that we are getting in the parameters above. So after this method what we do is we will replace our placeholder code with a size box of width 300 and height of 300, and for the child we will use a stack widget, and for the children of stack widget we will use a list dot generate, and we will return animated position widget. Inside animated position widget we will give a duration of 2000 milliseconds which is equal to 2 seconds, and for the child we will use animated opacity, and for the animated opacity it goes the same. We will use the same duration of 2000 milliseconds, and for opacity we have defined a variable above with the name of is animating. If is animating is true, then we will give a opacity of 0.25, and if it is false we will give a value of 0.0. Now let's remove the yellow warnings by adding constant, and instead of length we will use here the random circle, the method we used above that was giving us a value between 0 to 6. Let's add a return in the start of animated position widget. For animating our bubbles we will give it a curve. We will use curves dot ease in out. Now for the animated position widget we will define the left and the top from where our bubbles will generate. So now for the left we will check if the is animating variable is true. If it is true, then we will use a random coordinate method that we have defined above, which take a container size of value of the type double. So now what we do is we will give it the width of our media query and minus the random size that we are generating above. And if the value of the is animating is false, then we will give the total 300 width that we have of our size box and divide it by 2. Same code we will use for the top, and replace this left with the top. What it will do is it will generate bubbles by giving a space of 150 if it is false from the left and 150 from the top. What it will do is it will stretch our bubbles throughout the container. Now for the animated opacity we will give it a child animated container with a duration of same as we given above, 2000 milliseconds. Animated container is representing the bubbles that are going to be shown on the screen. For their width we will use is animating variable. If it's true, then we'll give it a random size. If it's not, we will set the width equal to 0. And same goes for the height. If the is animating is true, we will provide the random size as 0.0. Now for the child we will pass a simple container, and inside container we will give a decoration box decoration, and we will firstly give a shape to our bubbles. We will use box shape dot circle, and after that we will define the color that will give to our bubbles, which will be custom color white. So let's remove the warnings by adding the constant at the start of box decoration. So that's it for now. In the next video we will define a method in which we will trigger or is animating variable and set its value to true or false, so that after some duration a bubble animation can repeat itself. So for that purpose what we will do is we will create a method with a return type of void, and we will name this method as start animating. And inside this function we will change is animating variable to true, because we want to set our bubbles to animate. And after that we will use a method named as future.delayed. What this method will do is after some duration, in our case we will pass 2000 milliseconds or 2 seconds, we can set the state of our is animating variable. So basically what we want to do is we want to animate our variables, then after 2 seconds we will stop them, and after that it will again we will use the recursive programming technique and we will call the start animating function inside itself, so that the bubbles will repeatedly animate from one place to another place. So after that what we will do is we will create the init state method, and inside this method we will call the start animating function. So whenever this widget is called, you can see that the bubbles will animate on the screen. So after restarting our app, so the bubbles are not animating. We have to call our bubble view and bubble animation view here. So after calling the bubble animation view, if we restart our application, wait for a moment, you can see that the bubbles will start animating on the screen. So this is a success for us, as the bubbles are animating slowly. They are changing their place, and also they are changing their size. Now what we will do is we will comment this code, and we will try to change our animal name above and the detail in the subtitles about the animals with the images. So after creating our methods, we will create a button at the bottom of the circular view. So whenever we click on that button, the images will change. So first of all, let's uncomment our code for image.asset. It will show a red warning because we are using constant in the start of our widget tree. Let's remove all these yellow warnings by adding constant in the start of every widget. So now what we want to do is I have some data, two lists. First list contains the data of animal names, and second list contains details about the animals. So what we will do is we will create a function. Before that we will initialize a variable named image number with 1, and also we will initialize our list of integers with the name generated number, and for the start we will take an empty list. Now we will create a method named random number. Inside this what we will do is first of all we will check if the generated number list length is equal to 5, then we will clear all list. What we will do is now we will use a do while loop. Before that let's declare another variable with the name of random number, and inside do we will set this random number equal to random dot next int 5, which will generate numbers from 0 to 4, then we will increment it by 1. So now in while condition we will check that if the generated number dot contains this number, the random number that we have generated above. If the random number is not already in the generated number list, then what we will do is we will set our image number equal to random number, and also we will add it to generated number list. So first of all let's add it to generated number list, and then we will set state of our variable of image number and set it equal to random number. So for now we have created our method random number that will generate a random number that is not used before and set it equal to our image number. So now we have used in image.asset or path of the image, and I have named all the image in such a way that there is an image, then dash, and then a number. So we will replace that number with the image number that we will randomly generate. So in this case we haven't called the function, but we have set our image number in the initialization equal to 1. So when we reload our code, we will see the image 1, that is of elephant. So now what we will do is we have to make the name of the animal and the details of the element also dynamic. So for that purpose let's remove this animal, and at this place let's add animal details. Let's copy it from here, and now we will replace this animal with animal details. So what we will do is here we have to provide the index of the value which we are trying to call. So we will use our image number and we will decrement it by 1 because the values inside the lists are stored from the 0th index onwards. So now if we reload our project, you can see that we have mistakenly provided animal details. We had to provide animals list in the title view. So let's replace it with animals and reload our code. Now you can see that we can see the exact same animal name that is in the picture. So now for the details of the animals, let's use animal details list here, and in the index we will do the same. We will use the image number and we will decrement it by 1. So now if we reload our project, remove this constant, it will remove the error, and let's add constant in start of our widgets. Now if we reload our project, you can see that a detail about the animal is shown. So that's it for now. In the next video we will create a beautiful button at the bottom of our card view which will be used to dynamically change the animal details and images, animal names and their description. So now what we will do is we will create a button, as you can see in the app preview, from where we will call a function to change animal details whenever the user pushes this button. So without any further delay, let's jump into our Android Studio. So first of all, what we will do is we will use boxfit.contain for our image, which will allow it to be as large as possible while still within the bounds of the parent widget. So now let's move towards our main objective, which is to create a button from where we can access our function so that we can change the animal details. For this purpose, we have to go to our parent widget, that is a stack, and inside the children at the last we will use a elevated button, and the child we will replace child property with a text. Let's use text and give it a name of explore more. So and now on pressed we will pass an empty callback. So now if we reload our project, you can see that the button is at the top left corner of our screen because we are using stack and we haven't aligned this button. So what we will do is we will now wrap our elevated button with the align widget, and after that we will set the alignment to alignment dot bottom center. So now if we reload our project, you can see that our button is at the bottom of our card, but we want to give some padding from below. So we will wrap elevated button inside a column, and then we will use size box and we will give it a height of 20 pixels. Because we are using column, that's why we have to set its main axis alignment to main axis alignment dot end. So now if we reload our project, you can see that the button is at a perfect position where we want it. Let's remove all the errors by using constant, and inside our callback in onPressed, let's call our function random number. So now if we reload our project and press the button, as you can see that the animals are changing when we press the button. The animals are not repeating themselves because we have implemented the functionality that the animals should not repeat. Now button is functional, so let's give some style to this button. For this purpose we will use style, and we will use elevated button dot style from, and inside this we will use padding, and we will give it a padding, symmetric padding, as insist dot symmetric. And for horizontal padding we will give it 32 pixels, and for vertical padding we will give it a 16 pixels. So now if we reload our project, you can see that our button is a little bit bigger, and after that we want to give some elevation to this button, so that we can have some shadow effect. For this purpose we will use elevation and give it a value of 4. As you can see that there is a beautiful shadow under the button. So now let's give a style to our text. For this purpose we will change the font weight to font weight dot bold, and if we reload our project you can see that the text is now bold. And let's increase the font size also. For font size we will give it a value of 18 pixels. And now if we reload our project you can see that the button is looking more beautiful now than it was before. Let's give a background color to our elevated button. For this purpose we will use custom color white. Now our button functionality and styling is complete. As you can see that our button is working fine, and the animal details are changing without repeating themselves. So now what we are missing is we are missing our bubble animation view, because we had commented out that line so that we can focus on our image and the circular gradient. So now let's uncomment this line, and let's add constant to remove this warning, and after that let's restart our application. It will take some moment, and when the application is restarted you can see that there is a beautiful animating bubbles across our card, which makes it look more aesthetic. Now if we press the button you can see that the images are changing also. So this is it for this series. Hope you have enjoyed and learned from this series. Please make sure to like this video and leave a comment if you like this series, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as it provides fuel to my motivation to keep grinding and share with all of you people what I know. Thank you so much.